Chapter 1552. Upon hearing Hua Xiqian's words, everyone was enraged. Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling were just about to rush up to him. Huamin smiled at Hua Xiqian and said, "When you die, I'll be dressed even darker than this." "Thank you, but I won't die so soon. I'll live a long time, because I want to be by your side." "Hua Xiqian, watch your words." Gao Ran was furious. "Let's not argue here. It's meaningless. Let's go." Huamin was very calm, even though she hated Hua Xiqian to the core. However, she wanted to see Qin Chu as soon as possible. The group of people entered the courtroom. Mayor Song arrived very late. The police cars cleared the way, blocking the reporters and media from entering twice. Mayor Song wore a black suit and appeared in the courtroom in a low-key manner. He sat in the first row on the right, next to Hua Xiqian. "Dad, don't worry. Qin Chu will pay for what he did," Hua Xiqian whispered into Mayor Song's ear. Mayor Song didn't say a word, but his expression was serious. Huamin and the others all sat on the left. "That Hua Xiqian, I don't know what he said to Mayor Song, but it's so infuriating," Zhu Lingling cursed. Gao Ran tightly held onto her hand. "Don't worry, he'll get what he deserves. He won't have a good ending." Jiang Shaowei held onto her bulging belly with one hand. Wei Liao picked up a white coat and put it on her. Huamin sat next to Jiang Shaowei. She seemed a little nervous. She missed Qin Chu so much that he was locked up. She didn't have the chance to visit him. After about 10 minutes, all the court employees were in position. "Bring the suspect, Qin Chu." The chief judge gave the order. Huamin nervously crossed his arms and looked towards the entrance. Qin Chu walked out with the help of 2 police officers. He was wearing cold handcuffs. "It's Qin Chu." Zhu Lingling pointed in that direction and looked over with Gao Ran. Huamin teared up the moment he saw Qin Chu. He had lost weight and looked a little haggard, but he was still as handsome as ever. Mr. Qin's looks were widely acknowledged. Even Su Yu, Hua Xiqian, and many other celebrities couldn't compare. That kind of aura was innate. The moment Qin Chu entered, he raised his head and looked at Huamin. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Huamin couldn't help but cry. She stood up and wanted to run up to him and hug him. "Mian, you can't go over there." Jiang Shaowei rationally pulled Huamin back. Qin Chu gave Huamin a look that said, "I'm fine, don't worry." Then, he walked up to the defendant's stand. The lawyers hired by the police and GK's legal team began a long and intense standoff. There was a small interlude in this. Originally, Qin Chu's case was to be defended by the famous Chinese lawyer, Dennis Wu. But the strange thing was that Dennis was attacked and shot on the first day he was about to come to China. Although his life wasn't in danger, he couldn't leave the hospital, so he couldn't come. Rick and Huamin both knew that this wasn't a coincidence. It had to be Hua Xiqian's doing, but they couldn't do anything about it. The police's lawyer had a strong stance and was also a well-known lawyer in China. Apparently, he was personally appointed by Mayor Song. He looked at Qin Chu and asked, "On the day of the incident, where were you around 3 in the morning?" "I was at Song Yishi's mansion." "Why were you there?" "She sent me a message, saying that she had something important to tell you." "What important thing? Did she say it?" Qin Chu glanced at Hua Xiqian, who was sitting in the courtroom. Hua Xiqian gave Qin Chu a provocative smile. Chapter 1553. She didn't say anything. Qin Chu replied indifferently. "The victim, Miss Song Yishi, was only seen by you on the night of her death. Therefore, we have enough reason to suspect that you are the murderer. The evidence is indeed perfect, but unfortunately, I am not the murderer. I will not plead guilty." Qin Chu's expression was very calm. There was no trace of fear or anxiety in his eyes. Huamin liked this side of him. It was as if the world was coming to an end, but he didn't seem to care. "Your Honor, I've finished my questions," the opposing lawyer said. "Suspect, do you have anything else you want to defend yourself? Perhaps you could try to recall if there are any important clues that you missed." The judge asked Qin Chu. Huamin was slightly nervous. Su Yu handed him a tissue. "Wipe the sweat off your palms." Huamin took the tissue and crumpled it into a ball. His eyes were fixed on Qin Chu. "No, I have nothing else to say." Qin Chu felt that there was no point in saying anything at this point. Huasiqian must have been fully prepared. With so much evidence, it would be pointless to say anything. Then, do you plead guilty? No, I didn't kill anyone. Qin Shu still said the same thing. The first trial will end here. The official verdict will be announced in 7 days. Court is adjourned. The presiding judge hammered the gavel and ended the hour-long first trial. When Qin Shu was taken away, his gaze was fixed on Huamin. He raised his hand and made a gesture of drinking something. Then, he smiled at Huamin. Huamin knew that he wanted to tell him to drink more water. Because they were too far away, they couldn't hear each other, so they could only make hand gestures. With tears in his eyes, Huamin used hand gestures to tell Qin Shu, "I love you very much. I'll wait for you to come back." Qin Shu immediately understood. Then he nodded slightly and was taken away by the police. After Qin Shu's figure disappeared, Huamin got up and left. She walked quickly. Su Yu, who was behind her, quickly followed because he noticed that something was wrong with her mood. When Huamin walked out, she barged past the media, got in her car, and sped away. "Lord Su, hurry up and follow her." Okay. Su Yu's Lamborghini got into his Lamborghini and chased after Huamin. "Mian didn't look too good just now," Jiang Xiaowei said worriedly. "Lord Su's here, don't worry. Is his Mian's Gao?" Ran didn't say anything, but he hugged Zhu Lingling tightly with one hand. "Huasiqian, that bastard, he made the couple so miserable. I'm going to tear him apart." After speaking, Zhu Lingling pushed Gao, ran away, and ran towards Huasiqian's car. Huasiqian was just about to get into the car. Seeing Zhu Lingling's angry face, he immediately looked at her cautiously. "Huasiqian, you're not a man. I don't need you to judge whether I'm a man or not." He glanced at Zhu Lingling's face indifferently. I'm going all out in order to help Huamin." Zhu Lingling clawed at Huasiqian. However, Huasiqian pushed her hard, and she fell to the ground. Gao Ren immediately ran over and helped Zhu Lingling up. "Lingling, are you okay?" "Captain Gao, please look after your family. This is a lawful society. Your family member hit someone in front of the media. She's out of control. I think my wife doesn't need you to teach her a lesson." Gao Ren clenched his teeth and cursed at Huasiqian. "Ha! You two better not fall into my hands." Huasiqian glanced at their faces darkly. Then, he made a sharp turn and drove away. Zhu Lingling was so angry that she cursed behind him. "Bastard, you'll die a horrible death." "Lingling, you're too impulsive. What you did was useless." Gao Ran helped Zhu Lingling up and held her in his arms. Jiang Xiaowei also walked over and comforted her. "Gao Ran is right. Lingling, we have to believe in Mian, and that Qin Shu will be fine." Su Yu originally thought that he would be able to catch up to Huamin and stop him. However, they didn't expect that. The two of them went from the second ring road to the third ring road, and finally to the fourth ring road. However, he still couldn't catch up. It was also the first time that Su Yu saw Huamin's driving skills so good and fast. No wonder he beat Song Yishuan. His driving skills were really... Finally, Huamin stopped at a remote beach. Then, he sat down on a rock and lowered his head. Su Yu ran over, panting. "I'm so tired. Why did you run so fast?" "Su Yu, do you think Qin Shu will be sentenced to death in the second trial?" When Huamin looked up and asked this question, his face was covered in tears. Su Yu felt so heartbroken that he almost couldn't breathe. It was his first time seeing Huamin so fragile. Like a piece of porcelain, he would shatter with a single touch. Chapter 1554. What are you talking about? He didn't kill anyone. How could he be sentenced to death? The evidence is perfect. Huamin lowered her head in defeat. Su Yu walked over to Huamin and put her hands on her shoulders. "Huamin, cheer up. You can't fall down now. You have to be strong. You have to be strong. You have to be strong." "But I'm so tired. I'm scared. You still have me." Su Yu looked at Huamin gently and said softly, "Don't be scared. You can do it. Qin Shu is still waiting for you to help him clear his name. There are still 7 days until the second trial. We still have a lot of time to find evidence and find Huasiqian's weakness. But Huasiqian is not someone who would reveal his weakness." Huamin's voice was very low. She had no confidence in herself. She knew Hua Xiqian too well. Hua Xiqian was very secretive when it came to doing things. He would never leave behind any weaknesses that could be used against him. If it were someone else, it might be possible. However, if it was Hua Xiqian, it would be harder than ascending to heaven. Don't treat him like a god. No matter how careful he is, he's still human. Plus, even if Qin Shu is sentenced to death, we still have a way. What way? Huamin raised her head and looked at Su Yu with sad eyes. I can ask my grandfather to get Qin Shu out on medical parole, Su Yu said as she gritted her teeth. Is that okay? Huamin's eyes shone with a glimmer of hope. It shouldn't be a problem. My grandfather, that old man is the head of the military region. He's a powerful person in Jing City. He won't refuse to give you face. When the time comes, we'll think of a way to make Qin Shu say he's sick and let you out on medical parole. Then you guys can go abroad and lie low for a while. When everything calms down, you can come back. Su Yu's intention was the same as Rick's. Rick wanted to break out of prison. Su Yu was going to be released on bail for medical treatment. In the end, he was going to be sent overseas. However, the nature of the case was different. Rick breaking out of prison was a crime on top of a crime, and Qin Shu would have to bear the crime of being a murderer for the rest of his life. On the other hand, Su Yu had openly left the prison and went abroad to recuperate. Although Su Yu's idea seemed really good, Huamin knew that Su Yu made it sound easy. However, it wasn't easy at all to do it, because the victim was Song Yishe. All the leaders in the province were paying close attention to the case. If the Su family really wanted to make such a big move, they would probably be caught red-handed by others. If the media were to spread rumors, then Grandpa Su's reputation would be ruined. Plus, Lord Su would never agree to this. Su Yu, thank you, but I don't want to do this. Please don't drag Lord Su into this. The fewer people involved, the better. Otherwise, I'll feel even more uneasy. Qin Shu won't agree to this either. He's not that selfish. He won't drag others into this because of his own problems. It's not that hard. Su Yu replied, trying to cover up the truth. Don't treat me like an idiot. I know how hard this is. I'm very touched by your concern. You're right. I have to pull myself together. If I fall, what will happen to Qin Shu? Huamin felt like her heart was being pierced by a knife when she thought about how haggard Qin Shu looked today. Then, she slowly got up and ran towards the ocean. Su Yu was so scared that he followed closely behind her. What are you doing? Come back here. Chapter 1555. Don't worry, I won't commit suicide by jumping into the sea. Suicide is the action of coward. Huamin shouted as she ran. Then, she walked to the beach, where the seawater reached her knees. She shouted towards the sea, Huamin, you have to be strong. Su Yu glanced at her, and then walked over. Standing beside her, he shouted, You have to be strong, Huamin. Then, the two looked at each other and smiled. After venting, Huamin returned to the car. After a simple lunch with Su Yu, they went straight back to GK. Then, they continued to work. After work, Huamin drove to the first hospital. President Wu's office. Mian, come sit down. President Wu was really nice to Huamin, as if she was family. Speaking of which, although President Wu didn't teach Huamin anything, he always gave her opportunities and provided her with a platform. He was a teacher who recognized her talent. After all, not all talents in the world could meet someone who recognized them. Director. Huamin, dressed in a professional suit, walked over and sat on the sofa in the director's office. His assistant made tea for the two of them. President Wu walked over and pushed the teacup over. Here, try it. I heard that you like Westlake Longjing very much. Yeah, because it has a sweet and refreshing taste. I like green tea very much. Huamin smiled, picked up the teacup, and took a sip. How is it? It's not bad. I bought it a few days ago when I passed by Westlake on a business trip. I heard that the real Longjing is watered with Longquan water. President Wu said slowly. That's right. All good things are made with great care. Huamian nodded. So, you're the best you after going through so many difficulties. President Wu looked at Huamin and said lovingly. President, Huamin was slightly touched. Huamin, so many things have happened during this period of time. You've been worried about Qin Shu, manage the company, and took care of your in-laws who were hospitalized. At the same time, you've had to deal with so much public opinion and violence. If it were any other girl, she would have broken down a long time ago. Me too. Huamin smiled. But you made it through again, even in the most desperate moment. I hope you don't give up. We have an old saying in China, put death in order to be reborn. I believe that you'll make it through this difficult time. There's also another saying, joy comes from the depths of misfortune. You've already experienced so much unhappiness. So, after the storm, there's a beautiful sunny day. Dean, you have such a literary side to you. The feeling of instantly transforming into Master Yuchiyu. Go away. You're still in a mood to joke at a time like this. Huamin's words made President Wu feel embarrassed. The words of the ancients make a lot of sense in the afterlife. When the heavens are about to give a great responsibility to a great man, they will first torture his will, work his muscles and bones, and starve his body and skin. I think that you're not an ordinary person. It's unfortunate that you've endured so much, but it's also fortunate that you're still so young. It's fortunate that what you have is something that others may never have in their lifetime. Yes, I think that if I have Qin Shu, I have the whole world. Huamin smiled faintly. The afterglow of the setting sun shone in, and a beam of light shone on her face. It instantly moistened the corners of Huamin's lips, making her smile even more beautiful. What do you plan to do with your father-in-law? President Wu changed the subject and asked. Huamin was slightly silent. I've read his medical record, and it doesn't look good. The surgery can't be delayed. Qin Shu was the one who wanted to do the surgery for my father. Now that Qin Shu has been locked up, the surgery has been delayed. I don't know how long my father-in-law can hold on. Qin Shu's second trial is still 7 days away. Huamin was conflicted. I'm afraid he can't hold on for 7 days. Why don't we let Dr. Liu and the others do the surgery? It's not impossible, but the surgery is extremely difficult, and we're worried that something might go wrong. Huamin was honest with her thoughts. Why don't you do the surgery? President Wu looked at Huamin tentatively and asked. Me? Huamin was slightly surprised. Chapter 1556. Then, she immediately waved her hand. No. Although I studied neurosurgery on my own, I don't have clinical experience. The brain structure is too complicated, and I'm not confident. I can't take the risk. I think if you can do it with Dr. Liu and the others, the success rate of this surgery will be much higher. President Wu had never misjudged people. Of course, Qin Shu was the best neurosurgeon. However, the situation was so tense that Qin Shu couldn't get along. Wasn't using Huamin another way? I don't think I can do it, Huamin said in a low voice. But I think you can do it. President Wu. Huamin looked up but didn't know what to say. It's not like you're doing it alone. Just treat it as assisting Dr. Liu. After all, he's your family. Are you willing to take the risk? Director, this is a serious matter. I don't dare to make a decision so easily. How about this? Give me some time to think about it. Okay, then you have to hurry. The surgery can't be delayed for long. Within 3 days. Okay, then you can go back first. We'll talk on the phone. After walking out of the director's office, Huamin was still thinking about the director's words. Perform a craniotomy on his father-in-law? Wasn't that too risky? After going downstairs, Huamin went to visit his in-laws. Then he went to the OB-GYN department to see the head nurse. Su Yin, the head nurse of the OB-GYN department of the first hospital, was his first boss. Although she was strict, she was a very upright person. Huamin had always been in contact with her. Although they didn't see each other often, they still had feelings for each other. Head nurse. Hey, Mian, why are you here? Su Yin had just finished work and was sitting in her office. She was surprised to see Huamin. I just talked to President Wu about my father-in-law's illness, so I wanted to come and see you. I just finished work. Come and sit down. Su Yin liked Huamin very much. She looked at him with doting eyes. I've also heard about your father-in-law's illness. It's said that it's very difficult. Is he going to have an operation soon? Huamin nodded. Yes, it can't be delayed for much longer. His condition is worsening very quickly. Have some faith. Believe in miracles. Su Yin patted Hua Min's shoulder to comfort him. Yes, head nurse. Actually, I came here today because I need your help with some personal matters. Go ahead, the head nurse said without hesitation. Do you remember introducing a boyfriend to me before? Oh, are you talking about my distant cousin? Yes, his name is Lin Mingyu. I remember. What's wrong? Su Yin smiled. I'd like to get his contact information. What? Don't tell me you. Su Yin knew about Hua Min's divorce, so she was surprised that Hua Min wanted to get back together. No, don't get me wrong. I just want to ask him about my husband's case. I heard that he's the forensic doctor in charge of the autopsy. Oh, I see. Okay, wait a second. I'll get you his phone number. The head nurse quickly gave Hua Min the phone number. When Hua Min walked out of the hospital, he called Lin Mingyu. Hello, is this Mr. Lin Mingyu? I am. Who is this? I don't know if you still remember me. I'm Hua Min. Yes, a young lady from GK. Lin Mingyu's tone was calm. Hua Min felt a bit awkward. Excuse me, I just got your number from head nurse Sue. Actually, there's something I want to ask you. I wonder if it's convenient for you. After 5 seconds of silence, Lin Mingyu said, I'm at work right now. I can come to you. I promise I won't take up too much of your time. Is that okay? Hua Min asked carefully. What you want to ask is related to your husband's murder case, right? Lin Mingyu suddenly asked. Chapter 1557. Yeah. Hua Min didn't try to hide anything. There was another moment of silence. Finally, Lin Mingyu said, Then come find me at the bureau. There's a Sichuan restaurant nearby. Wait for me there. Okay. After Hua Min hung up the phone, he drove straight to the famous Sichuan restaurant near the bureau. After about 15 minutes, Lin Mingyu finally arrived. He was wearing a white lab coat. It seemed like he didn't have time to change. There was a strong smell of formalin on his body. I'm sorry, I'm too busy to change. Do you mind? Of course not. Hua Min smiled. Right, I almost forgot. You're a doctor too, so you should be used to this smell. Hua Min smiled as he handed over the menu. Order. I'll treat you to dinner. I'm fine with anything. You decide. Lin Mingyu pushed the menu back to Hua Min. Hua Min had to ask again, do you eat spicy food? Of course. Okay. Hua Min looked at the menu and called the waiter over. I like a portion of boiled fish, how spicy and how numb. Okay. The waiter immediately took out the menu. I like a portion of Chuan Bay cold jelly. I like a portion of blueberry yam. I like a portion of stir-fried broccoli. And a portion of Westlake beef soup. That's enough. Hua Min, there's only the two of us. We can't finish all of this. Lin Mingyu quickly stopped him. That's enough. Hua Min handed the menu to the waiter and poured a glass of water for Lin Ming. Thank you. Dr. Lin, I'm a straightforward person. I don't like to pretend to be close to people, and I don't like to beat around the bush either. I'll be direct. I know that you're the forensic doctor for this case, so I have a lot of questions that I want to ask you. After all, I can't let my husband be wronged. I have to clear his name. You mean, your husband didn't kill her? Lin Mingyu wasn't surprised. He just asked quietly. Hua Min nodded. Yes, he was set up. As the president of GK, my husband has many ways to kill someone. He's not stupid enough to do it himself. Wouldn't that be asking for arrest? You're right. I think so too. But in today's society, everything is about evidence. If your husband can't prove his innocence, he can only take the blame. Dr. Lin, is there anything suspicious about Song Yishu's body? What are you referring to? Lin Mingyu asked. Just some suspicious things, the time of death, or other than Qin Shu's skin, are there any other fingerprints on the body? Dr. Hua, this is highly classified information, Lin Mingyu said calmly as he looked at Hua Min. Hua Min didn't say anything and bit his lip. It's not that I don't want to talk about it, but there are some things that I really can't talk about. This case is too important. The mayor and the leaders of the city bureau told me not to divulge any details, so I can't talk about it. Then can you tell me if anyone did anything to the body? Hua Min already knew that Hua Xiqian wouldn't leave any clues, but he still wanted to try. No, there are no clues. You heard what the police lawyer said during the first trial. The time of death and the cause of death, and the skin on Song Yishu's body that your husband left behind. The two of them had an argument. It's all true. No one would dare to give false testimony in such a big case. Then was the victim sexually assaulted before she died? Huamin asked. Chapter 1558. She knew that Qinshu would never touch Song Yishur. Therefore, if someone could find out that Song Yishur had been sexually assaulted, it must have been Huasiqian or Huasiqian's people. No. Did you check carefully? Was there really nothing? Maybe the suspect wore a condom? Huamin asked. Dr. Hua, don't doubt my professionalism. I'm an experienced forensic doctor. I can tell that the victim was sexually assaulted. Even if the suspect wore a condom, I can still tell. The victim's body was not sexually assaulted. Her uterus is perfectly preserved, and there are no signs of secretions. I can say for sure that she was not sexually assaulted. She probably didn't have sex for a long time before she died. I'm sorry, I just cared too much about this case. I didn't mean to question your professionalism. Please don't misunderstand. Understand? Anyone would care. After all, the suspect is your husband. Huamin remained silent. I heard you guys got a divorce? Lin Mingyu suddenly asked. Yes, he had his own difficulties at the time. What do you plan to do now? Wait for him to come out. Huamin lowered his head. What if he doesn't come out? Are you still going to wait? Lin Mingyu stared at Huamin's face and asked. Yes, I'll keep waiting. You're so stubborn. No wonder my cousin said you're stubborn. Lin Mingyu smiled. Huamin didn't say anything else. Just then, the waiters began to serve the dishes. The two of them stopped talking about the case. Instead, they talked about some medical matters. When it was time to pay the bill, Lin Mingyu rushed to pay before Huamin could. Didn't I say I'd treat you? I can't let a woman pay for me. I don't have that habit. Lin Mingyu smiled. Before they left, Huamin took out his phone. Huh? Why is the battery dead? What's wrong? He asked. My phone ran out of battery. I want to call the company. If you remember the number, use my phone. Lin Mingyu took out his phone. Huamin carefully took the phone and thanked him. Thank you, Dr. Lin. You're welcome. It's just a small matter. Huamin picked up his phone and skillfully dialed a number. After listening for a while, he said in annoyance, I actually dialed the wrong number. I'm really drunk. Then she dialed again. Out of courtesy, Lin Mingyu walked to the entrance of the restaurant and waited for her. Huamin walked out after finishing the call. Here's your phone. Thank you for lunch, Dr. Lin. You're welcome. Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't help you much. No, you've already helped me a lot by coming and discussing the case with me. I'll leave first. Goodbye. Huamin turned around. Take care, Lin Mingyu suddenly said. The Huamin now was completely different from the last time they met. Her aura was stronger and more beautiful. However, there were too many things in her eyes. Huamin was too tired. Even an outsider like Lin Mingyu could tell. You too. Huamin smiled and nodded. Then, he got into his car and left. Huamin drove to the company. His phone rang. Sister Huamin, what's up? Huamin's voice was gentle. I know that Sister Ingzi wants to terminate her contract. I also know that she betrayed me and the company. Huamin was silent. Sis, why didn't you tell me earlier? And Aiyang, where are you? Huamin didn't answer his question directly. Instead, he asked a question of his own. Chapter 1559. I'm a GK. Wait for me. I'll talk to you when I get back. After hanging up, Huamin drove straight back to GK while Inai Yang sat in the office and waited for him. Assistant Yang seemed to be indignant as he told Inai Yang a lot of things. He even told Huamian that when GK was in trouble, Ingzi wanted to terminate Inai Yang's contract and didn't want to pay double the termination fee. Upon hearing this, Inai Yang's handsome face turned completely cold. No wonder Ingzi kept trying to persuade him to leave GK. At first, he didn't think much of it, but now it seemed that not only did she ignore others for her own benefit, she even made Jia the scapegoat. Unfortunately, Chen Jia wasn't good with words and never said anything bad about Ingzi. This made Inai Yang even angrier. A young lady is back. Assistant Yang immediately greeted Huamin when he saw him at the door. MHM, where's Inai Yang? He's been waiting for you at GK for half an hour. Huamin pushed open the door and walked in. Sis, let me drink some water first. I'll talk to you later. Huamin walked to the fridge, took out 2 bottles of water, and handed one to Yang. Then, he opened the other bottle and took a big gulp. Sis, why didn't you tell me everything earlier? Yang looked at Huamin sadly. Where did you hear that? Huamin was never the kind of person who would encourage others to do things behind their backs, so he wouldn't tell Yang about how evil Ingzi was. Everyone at GK knows. I'm the only one who doesn't know. She caused a scene in your office, but you didn't even tell me. I didn't want you to be sad. After all, Ingzi has been with you for so long. Indeed, she has a great influence on me, but I can't just stand by and watch her make mistakes. She doesn't want to hurt you. She just cares about her own interests. She's not wrong. Yang was slightly surprised and looked at Huamin. Sis, what do you mean? Yang, GK isn't doing well right now. If you want to terminate your contract, I won't ask you to pay me. Don't say any more. I'm not leaving. Yang was very agitated and stood up immediately. Yang, sis, stop. I know you're doing this for my own good. You're good friends with President Su of Imperial Star, and I'm sure he won't mistreat me. But I won't leave. I came to GK for you, and as long as you're with GK, I'll be here. We met by chance, but you treated me like your own little brother. You helped me reconcile with my mother, helped them get through their tough times, and helped my brother get a kidney transplant. You helped me turn down a lot of work to help me recover. You even gave me the best resources at GK and made me a top star. Although I'm young, I'm not a heartless person. People always say that a drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. Although I can't repay a gushing spring, I'll never betray you. This isn't betrayal. Huamin comforted him. If I leave you at a time like this, then I'll be betraying you. Yang looked at Huamin and said loudly, but GK really isn't doing well right now. My husband isn't back yet, and the company's shares have been maliciously acquired. So, the future is uncertain. Before Huamin could finish, Yang interrupted him. Sis, GK will get better. Even if the worst comes to worst, I'll just quit being a star. Yang's words shocked Huamin. Then he smiled and said, you know me. Although I'm young, I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time, and I've experienced a lot. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've grown tired of it. I've seen through fame and fortune, and I've given up on being a star. I might feel sad without flowers and applause, but a normal life is also a kind of happiness for me. The truth is, I've made a lot of money over the years, and I won't be able to spend it all in this lifetime. I've been thinking that after I quit being a star, I'll marry Jia, have kids, and live a normal life. I'm actually very envious of how much love you and President Qin have. I think no amount of money, fame, and fortune can buy a person who loves you wholeheartedly. What do you think? Chapter 1560. I didn't expect you to see things so clearly. At this moment, Huamin had a whole new level of respect for Yang. He was younger than her, yet he could see through so much and say so much. Huamin thought that in this real world, there weren't many people who valued relationships. Previously, when she saw the news on a certain website, whenever there was a story about someone using their own money to do a good deed, or someone jumping into a river to commit suicide, someone would comment that they were a hero and a good person. One of the comments left a deep impression on Huamin. The netizen commented, if the price of being a good person is to suffer losses and sacrifice yourself, then sorry, I don't want to be a good person. So, although Huamin had a big fight with Ingzi and used the penalty to shut her up, Huamin didn't care. In her heart, she never thought of asking Yang to pay double the penalty. She even planned to let Yang go. He didn't have the obligation to take on the company's risks with her. However, Yang made up his mind at this moment. He was so loyal. Huamin felt that everything she did for Yang in the past was worth it. She should help such a kind person. Sis, it's settled. I've already terminated my contract with Ingzi Studio. From now on, I'm no longer an artist under her. I made a lot of money for her over the years. I'll still say the same thing. As long as the company exists, I'll still be here. If the company doesn't work out, I'll quit the entertainment industry. I'll take this opportunity to have a good rest. Don't think too much about it. I know you've been under a lot of pressure recently, so I didn't dare to bother you on WeChat. I believe that you and President Chin will make it through. You're so strong and wise. That's enough. You brat, don't flatter me. If you continue to praise me, I'll get carried away. Huamin laughed. Go ahead. You have the right to be carried away, because you're Huamin. And Ayang looked into Huamin's eyes and said slowly, "Ha, you brat, you've moved me again. You're so annoying. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I've been very emotional lately. I cry a lot." Huamin complained as he wiped the corners of his eyes. All right, don't be so emotional. Ha, calm down a bit, sis. Didn't you say it before? Other than life and death, everything else in this world is insignificant. Indeed. Huamin nodded. It's settled then. I'll go check on Jia at Southside. When you're done, we'll treat you and President Chin to dinner. Okay. Huamin smiled slightly. He especially liked to hear Ni Yang's heartwarming words. After Ni Yang left, Huamin buried himself in his work. When it was past 7 o'clock in the evening, she walked out of the company and planned to eat something. At this moment, she received a call from her mother-in-law. Mom, Mian, hurry up and come. What's wrong? Huamin immediately asked upon hearing his mother-in-law's anxious tone. Mian, your dad, what happened to my dad? Huamin's heart skipped a beat. Your dad's been in a bad mood recently, and he hasn't been able to sleep at night. I thought he was just worried about the company and Shu, so I didn't think much of it. But I just realized that he's gone. Gone? What do you mean? He's on the rooftop of the hospital. He wants to die. No matter what I say, he won't come back. Hurry up and come. Mrs. Chin couldn't stop crying. Huamin's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this. Mom, wait for me. I'll be right there. Chapter 1561. When Huamin walked over, he saw a particularly thrilling scene. Qin Yuman stood on the rooftop of the hospital. In the cold wind, he was wearing a hospital gown and looked very thin. Mian, you're finally here. Come and see your dad. Lady Qin's eyes were red from crying. A large group of medical staff stood at the entrance of the rooftop, and there were also many onlookers below. The fire department and the police were all there, but no one dared to go up. Qin Yuman was standing on the edge, as if he would fall down if he wasn't careful. Mom, I'll go talk to Dad first. Don't worry. Huamin comforted his mother-in-law and walked towards the rooftop. Qin Yuman had his back to the rooftop. He looked down at the tall buildings and traffic below him, thinking about something. Dad. Huamin's father, Dr. Qin Yuman, slowly turned around. Mian, you're here. His voice was very deep, and his mood and expression were very different from usual. Dad, if you have something to say, we can talk it out. What are you doing? Do you know how worried we are about you? Huamin was also scared. Qin Yuman was an upright person and would never do something like this to scare people. He only did this because he had suicidal thoughts. Mian, my illness can't be cured. Cancer is a disease that the whole world can't cure, not to mention that I have brain cancer. We can't give up hope. Dad, Qin Shu isn't here, but I can still do the surgery for you. Mian, listen to me. Qin Yuman looked at Mian meaningfully and said, Our family was harmed by evil people, and the stock market crashed. I know all of this, and the company is in danger. You don't have to hold on anymore. I don't think I'll be able to hold on for much longer with my illness. Why don't I just jump in and take on this debt so that you and Chu don't have to worry about it? Dad, how can you think like that? GK is in a bit of trouble right now, but it's not at the end of the road. I haven't given up yet, so why should you? Huamin comforted him with tears in his eyes. The truth was, Huamin understood what Huamin meant. Her father-in-law was saying that he had cancer and couldn't be cured. He didn't have much longer to live, so he might as well jump down and take on all of GK's debts. That way, the courts and banks wouldn't have a reason to ask her and Qin Shu's debts. However, life and death was a big deal. How could it be so easy? Dad, don't be rash. You only have one life. If you jump down, there's no turning back. Qin Shu hasn't come out yet. If he knows that you've made this choice, he'll be sad. A few days ago, you told me that we could just sell the company. What's important is that we stay together as a family. Why aren't you keeping your promise now? I just don't want to burden you. You've been busy these days. Other than going to the police station to take care of Chu, you also have to take care of me and my wife, and take care of GK. Mian, you've worked hard. It's our fortune to have a daughter-in-law like you. Dad, don't treat me like an outsider. We're family. Mian, take good care of your mom. If the truth comes out, and Chu can still come out, tell him that I'm sorry. I'm going to leave now. Then Qin Yuman's body moved forward a little more, and he was about to fall. If he fell from a 10-story building, he would be smashed to pieces. Lady Qin held behind him. Old Qin, don't be so stupid. How are you going to live if you leave me alone? At that critical moment, Huamin suddenly shouted, Dad, I'm pregnant. Chapter 1562. What? Just as Qin Yuman had one foot in the air, Huamin's words made him hesitate. Dad, haven't you always wanted to see your granddaughter and grandson? Huamin couldn't stop his tears from falling. Mian, are you really? Huamin nodded as he cried. That's great. Our Qin family has a descendant. Qin Yuman raised his head and sighed. Seeing this, the firefighters beside him immediately went up and pulled him back from the edge of the rooftop. All the onlookers broke out in cold sweat. Huamian felt like a huge rock had been lifted off her chest. Lady Qin was so excited that her vision turned black, and she fainted on the ground. Mom, how are you? Huamin quickly supported his mother-in-law. Dr. Hua, I think your mother-in-law might be too scared, so? The nurse comforted him. Please take her to the emergency room and see what's going on. Okay. After the mother-in-law was pushed away, Huamin helped his father-in-law back to the VIP ward. Dad, the company isn't that bad yet. I'll think of a way, trust me. I don't want to make things difficult for you. If you can't do it, just sell it, Mian. Qin Yuman persuaded. Then, he said, You're pregnant now. You shouldn't work too hard. It's okay, Dad. I'm not that delicate. I'm in good shape, don't worry. I'll go check on Mom. You should rest first. Qin Yuman nodded, took some medicine, and slowly fell asleep. Because Huamin was pregnant, Qin Yuman gave up on the idea of committing suicide. Instead, he actively cooperated with the treatment. Huamin went to check on his mother-in-law. After confirming that she was fine, he left the hospital. Walking out of the hospital, Huamin's heart was heavy. She said that she was pregnant to lie to her father-in-law so that he could live. But Huamin rubbed her belly. She hadn't gotten pregnant after so many times. How could it be this time? Huamin did not know that there was a little life in her stomach. She even felt guilty for deceiving her father-in-law. She planned to wait for her father-in-law to cooperate with the treatment. After the surgery, she would slowly explain to him. Back to Sky Blessing, Huamin was not in the mood to eat, so he boiled some water himself. Then, he drank some sugar water to replenish his body's nutrients. Then, he took out his laptop and continued to deal with some emails from the company. At this moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. Huamin immediately stood up and walked quietly to the door. He peeked through the door mirror. Only then did he feel relieved. He thought that it was Hua Xiqian, that pervert plotting something again. So it was actually Su Yu. After seeing that it was Su Yu, Huamin breathed a sigh of relief and opened the door. Just as he was about to speak, he was dumbfounded. Su Yu did not come alone. Behind him were Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, and a young man. Who was that? Huamin had a good memory. He thought for a moment and remembered. It was Wei Liao's brother-in-law, the heir of the Shun family, and Wei Ying's fiancée, Shun Qingxi. He was also the man that Hua Yinyan desperately pursued for a long time. It was said that the Shun family was also a rich family. However, the members of the family were too low-key, and there were very few reports about them. So you brought these people here. This was before Huamin could speak, so you turned around and looked at them. Come in. Damn, is this your home? Why are you so casual? Tang Chuan laughed. What's going on? After everyone entered the house, Huamin whispered into Su Yu's ear, We're here for dinner. After Su Yu said this, Huamin noticed that the four of them were carrying big bags of food. Ahem. Huamin coughed violently, feeling very awkward. Other than Su Yu, the problem was that he wasn't very close to the others. Wei Liao was a little better because he was Xiao Wei's husband. But Tang Chuan and Shun Chengxi Huamin didn't think he was close enough to them to eat at his home. What was going on? Who could tell him? Chapter 1563. I'm afraid I don't know how to cook. Wei Liao is the best at this. Let him do it, Tang Chuan yelled as he took out the seafood from the food bag. Wei Liao's here. Where's Xiao Wei? I didn't tell Xiao Wei. Su replied. It's between the guys, so I didn't bring Xiao Wei, but Xiao Wei knows, Su added. Did you guys come to the wrong place for a party to come to my house? Huamin was speechless. When we eat, we'll talk about it. You'll know. Then, the four men began to get busy. Shen Xingxi went to wash a lot of fruits, while Tang Chuan helped Wei Liao prepare all kinds of seafood. Suyu, on the other hand, had a lot of free time. He held the remote control and watched TV. Huamin was dumbfounded. The four most famous princes of the city were gathered at her house tonight. What kind of evil wind was blowing? Soon, a table full of seafood was ready. Wei Liao smiled. I'm sorry. If it's not good, please forgive me. Suyu picked up a lobster and placed it on Huamin's plate. Huamin immediately felt nauseous when she smelled the fishy smell of seafood. However, she couldn't show her disgust in front of so many people. So she reached out and took a bite of an apple. I'm not hungry yet. I'll eat some fruit first. You guys eat first, Huamin said. The three men really didn't treat themselves as guests and began to eat. At this moment, Wei Liao took the lead. He looked at Huamin and said, Huamin, we're here because we have something to talk to you about. Go ahead. Lord Su, this was your idea. Why don't you say it? Wei Liao looked at Suyu. You're such a big man. Huamin asked you to say it, so just say it. Suyu glared at Wei Liao. This is your idea. I think it's better for you to say it yourself. Old Wei is right. You should say it, Lord Su, Tang Chuan echoed. Shen Chengxi did not say anything. He held a crab in his hand and ate it silently. Suyu glanced at Huamin and said with a relaxed expression, It's nothing to be surprised about. Don't be nervous. It's just that GK is in a bit of trouble right now. That bastard Huasiqian didn't play by the rules and seriously broke the rules of the game. We can't stand it anymore. After we found out that his subsidiary company was trying to acquire your company's shares, I wanted to work together to help you fight back against him. Fight back how? Huamin was dumbfounded. The four of us are going to invest 50 billion yuan into GK. Once the amount of foreign investment increases, it will dilute Huasiqian's shares. As long as he doesn't have more shares than you, he won't be able to do anything. 50 billion is too much. I'm afraid I won't be able to pay you back. Huamin looked around and said worriedly. This was the truth. If GK suddenly went bankrupt, they would have to pay back the money. She didn't want everyone's money to go down the drain. Look at you. Are you still the fearless Huamian that's afraid of nothing? We'll invest 50 billion yuan first. For the four of us, it's just a drop in the ocean. If that bastard Huasiqian doesn't like it and continues to maliciously acquire our shares, we'll continue to invest. The more he buys, the more we dilute. Trust us, no matter how rich he is, he won't be able to compete with the four of us working together. Suyu is absolutely right. The four wealthiest families in the city all had big businesses. Each of them was filthy rich, not to mention the four of them working together. But if we do this, even if it's 5 against 1, is it fair? Won't it be shameful if we win? Huamin asked. Chapter 1564. Suyu poked Huamin's head with his finger. Are you dumb? You're still talking about fairness at a time like this? Do you still care about honor? Huasiqian did everything he could to hurt you. Why are you still talking about morality? Upon hearing this, Huamin realized that Suyu's words made sense. Then consider this money your investment, Huamin said slowly after a moment of silence. No, we're not investing. We're just lending you the money. You can return it to us after GK survives this crisis. We're not like that bastard Huasiqian, who would take advantage of you when you're down and buy shares at a low price. I'm not that kind of person. How can I do that? The four of you are lending me so much money. Huamin was flattered. Take it, Huamin, you're my friend. So you looked at him seriously. Ahem, if you're Lord Su's friend, then you're my friend as well. Take it. You're Xiao Wei's friend. It's okay for us to help you. Wei Liao smiled. With the crab in his hand, he glanced at Huamin and said quietly, "You're my wife's sister-in-law's friend, which makes you a friend of the Shun family. We're willing to help you." Huamin was speechless. Speechless. These few fellows actually spoke clearly and logically. Clearly, they had come prepared. "Then I owe you a lot. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I can't pay you back." Huamin knew that it was easy to pay back a debt, but it was hard to pay back a favor. If she went out and asked around, she wouldn't know who could easily borrow 10 billion yuan without an IOU. She didn't even have to ask, and they lent her the money. "Huamin, don't feel burdened. We don't like that bastard Huasiqian either. Take it. Once GK survives this crisis, everything will be fine. We believe in your abilities." "Thank you, everyone." Huamin looked at the four men gratefully. It turned out that there was a reason why Su Yu had gathered everyone to eat at Huamin's house. It seemed that Bella was right. The only way to get through this crisis was through financing. Although it wasn't financing this time, it was indeed because of the four great clans that she was able to do it. Su Yu was right. At this time, they couldn't think too much. There was no time to think of any reasons. As long as he could protect GK from being swallowed up by Huasiqian, everything was worth it. What's more, the four families weren't buying their shares. They were just injecting capital in the name of borrowing money. Such a good thing was simply impossible to find even if one held a lantern. Later on, Huamin realized that GK wasn't worth that much. She was able to borrow 50 billion and get the four great clans to help her because she was Huamin. The name Huamin had already become a legend because this name was Su Yu's lifelong obsession. Su Yu and the others didn't stay for long. After eating, they cleaned up and left. 3 hours later, 50 billion was added to Hua Min's personal account. Looking at the money, Huamin was extremely touched. If he could really get through this, he would definitely think of a way to repay this favor in the future. With the four great clans' investment, Huamin didn't have to worry about the company being swallowed up by Huasiqian. However, there were two more difficult problems than the company: her father-in-law's surgery tomorrow morning and Qinshu's second trial. After thinking for a long time, Huamin decided to follow President Wu's instructions. She wanted to personally participate in the surgery tomorrow morning, but because she didn't have much clinical experience with the brain. Therefore, she decided to be Dr. Lu's assistant and assist her in the surgery. Success or failure depended on this. It would be great if the surgery succeeded, but if it failed, how was she going to explain it to Qinshu? Also, the second trial. After the first trial, it was basically set in stone. By the second trial, it would probably be a formality. At that time, there would definitely be a verdict. Huamin didn't want that day to come. However, she also wanted to see Qinshu as soon as possible. Her heart was weighed down by these things. So much so that she had neglected the fact that her period was already late for 3 days. Late at night, Huamin sat on the bay window in his second-floor bedroom and looked into the distance. Chapter 1565. On the other hand, Immerse drove her Porsche to the Hua mansion. Huasiqian's whereabouts had been unpredictable lately. He wasn't at the company or at her place. At first, she thought that he had been charmed by that vixen Wang Shasha. Later, she found out that Wang Shasha had been eliminated by Huasiqian long ago. Therefore, she decided to come to the Hua mansion to find him. When she got out of the car, she saw Huasiqian walking out. The difference was that he was wearing a dark cashmere coat today. He was also wearing a black top hat. Siqian, Immerse, hurriedly got out of the car and walked over. Before she could reach him, Huasiqian walked past her and into his car. It was as if he didn't see her. Siqian, Immerse, was upset that he ignored her, so she called out his name again. However, Huasiqian didn't seem to hear her as he got into his car and left. Was he so cold to her because his plan was about to succeed and he was about to give Huamin? Immerse's heart sank as she thought about how different Huasiqian was today. He was like a completely different person. "You're crazy? Huasiqian, go find Huamin. You'll regret it one day. Sooner or later, you'll die in the hands of Huamin." Immerse screamed to Huasiqian's car. However, no matter how much she screamed, Huasiqian ignored her. He drove away. After Mo Shui was rejected, she went to find Jiangyi in a fit of pique. Huomin sat on the bay window for a long time and finally felt a little sleepy. She was about to go to bed when she saw a black shadow flash by downstairs. Then, in less than 10 seconds, she activated all the security systems in the house. The siren started to blare. Beep, 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 beep. All the neighbors woke up and the security guard in the neighborhood rushed over. Huomin knew that someone was trying to sneak into her house. Ever since the window opened in the middle of the night, Huomin went to stay at Jiang Xiaowei's house for a few days out of fear. After she came back, she developed a security system that combined computers and surveillance. After dark, the system's infrared system was activated. Any living thing that didn't enter the house through the door, even a little bird, would activate the alarm system. This meant that someone was trying to sneak into her house. Once the alarm went off, the enemy must have been alerted the security guards' house. Comsti, what is it? Huomian opened the door. Miss Hua, are you all right? Did the alarm go off? The security guards asked. Yeah, a burglar broke into my house. Huomian looked calm. Hua, es Huomian, means was es door. Hua, ts's. Of mean, they have his. No, most of the owners have their own access cards. Strangers can't get in. Okay, it's fine. Do you need me to call the police? No, you can go now. Mississippi Hua, call us if you need anything. Got it. Huomin closed the door and turned on the computer again to activate the security system. Fortunately, she was prepared. Otherwise, she wouldn't even know if someone sneaked in again. The security guards said that they didn't find anyone suspicious and that they were all owners of the neighborhood. Could it be that someone among the owners wanted to harm her? Or did Huasiqian send someone to buy a house here? Huomin's heart sank. She could clearly feel that there were enemies lurking around her. That kind of feeling made her feel flustered. The next morning, Huomin went to the hospital at 6 in the morning to prepare for her father-in-law's surgery. However, she did not expect to see someone in the ward. Mian, come here and see who this is. Lady Qin held Huomin's hand intimately and pointed at a short-haired girl in her 20s. This is? Huomin was stunned. Chapter 1566. Is this Ning Ning? Huomin looked at the short-haired girl and asked uncertainly. See, I told you, Mian has a good memory. You can definitely guess. Lady Qin's face was full of pride. Her daughter-in-law, who used to be a thorn in her side, had now become her greatest pride. She was even more famous than her son, Qin Chu. Although Huomin had always kept a low profile and never showed off, Huomin's recent actions had really touched the two elders of the Qin family. This girl, at a critical moment, single-handedly held up the big picture and moved everyone. Everyone said that meeting a peerless man like Qin Chu was Huomin's life's fortune. But who knew? To be able to meet a woman like Huomin was the dream of all men. No woman could win a man's heart with just her beauty. And a girl like Huomin never relied on her beauty. The short-haired girl stared at Huomin and smiled slightly. Hello, sis-in-law. Huomin walked over and looked at her up and down intimately. I've always heard people talk about you, but this is the first time I've met you. You're much prettier in person than in your photos. You're a very cute girl. Huomin never said anything against her will or flattered anyone just to please them. She truly thought the girl was pretty and cute. Her smile was sweet. Who was this short-haired girl? It turned out that she wasn't just anyone. She was the daughter of Qin Chu's uncle, Wu Hong, who had immigrated to the United States a few years ago and settled down in Hawaii. Wu Hong was also a well-known overseas Chinese and had his own business in the United States. He and Qin Chu's father were biological brothers and had a very good relationship. Qin Chu's uncle had stayed in the United States for many years after studying abroad. Now, he was also a well-known figure in the upper class. They had always been close friends. His uncle had tried to persuade his brother's family to emigrate more than once, but Qin Chu's father had always had a deep attachment to his hometown and was reluctant to leave, so the matter was left unsettled. When the company was in trouble, Uncle Qin Chu happened to be in South America to discuss a project. Only after returning to America did he find out that something had happened here. He immediately brought his precious daughter back to China. Qin Ning was considered to be Qin Shu's close relative. When Qin Shu was studying in the United States, she visited him with her father many times. The Qin family had a photo of the child. Although it was taken 5 or 6 years ago, it hadn't changed much. That was why Huamin recognized Qin Ning right away. "Ning Ning, you're here. Where's Uncle?" "My father is here too. He's in the director's office, talking about my uncle's surgery." Huamin nodded. "Sister-in-law, I've known about you for a long time." Qin Ning leaned forward and smiled mysteriously. Without waiting for Huamin to speak, Qin Ning continued, "I saw it on my brother's phone." "Huh." I secretly looked at it. He doesn't allow anyone to touch his phone, so I knew there must be a secret. When I opened it, I was stunned. It was filled with photos of you. At that time, you were still so young and so cute. After hearing Qin Ning's words, Huamin smiled shyly. "You peeked at his phone?" He didn't get mad. Because of that, he ignored me for an entire month. Luckily, I lied to him in the end. My brother is cold on the outside, but warm on the inside. He's very nice to me. When my mother passed away, he skipped school for a week and took me to Disneyland to comfort me. Qin Ning's mother passed away in a car accident 5 years ago. After that, Qin Shu's uncle didn't look for her again and took care of her. Perhaps because of this, Qin Shu doted on his little sister. Then, Qin Ning grabbed Huamin's hand and quietly asked, "Sister-in-law, did my brother really kill someone?" Chapter 1567. "He didn't," Huamin answered straightforwardly. "Then why is everyone saying that my brother killed her? Actually, I don't believe that he could kill Sister Song either." Qin Ning's expression was a little conflicted. "Ning Ning, you know Song Yisher?" Huamin asked quietly. "I know her. Her father and my father have a good relationship. She liked my brother since she was young and always thought that she would marry my brother. Unfortunately, my brother didn't like her. Later, when my brother was studying in the United States, she went to visit him many times. I don't know why, but she didn't dare to go to the school to look for him. Then, she wanted to bribe me and bought me a lot of gifts. At that time, I felt that Sister Song was too scheming. I didn't like her very much." From Qin Ning's words, he learned that Song Yisher was very obsessed with Qin Shu back then. Among so many women who pestered Qin Shu, Song Yisher could be said to be his biggest love rival and the most difficult one to deal with. Huamin had also crossed swords with her many times. In the end, he didn't hesitate to fall out with her. He even went as far as racing and gambling with his life. Now that Song Yisher was dead, all the grudges were in the past. When he heard Qin Ning talk about the past, he didn't feel so deeply. After a moment of silence, Huamin said, "Song Yisher's death was a little tragic, but had nothing to do with your brother. She deserved it. It didn't matter that Song Yisher was dead, but it was a pity that she tricked Qin Shu before she died. What nonsense diary did she leave? If the police didn't let go, they would think that she really had an affair with Qin Shu. They would think that Qin Shu was a murderer of love." This was also what made Huamin the most depressed. Huamin felt that the person Song Yisher loved the most was not Qin Shu, but himself. It was because she was afraid of death that she was threatened and used by Hua Xiqian, leaving behind such a big disaster for Qin Shu. This was not something that a person who loved Qin Shu deeply would do. "Then who is the real murderer? Why didn't you capture him?" Qin Ning asked innocently. Qin Ning was only 19 years old, about the same age as Jixin, so she was still very naive. Sometimes, she didn't think too much. "Ning Ning, it's not as simple as you think. Your brother was set up by someone. Those bad guys tried their best to break us up, but you have to believe in your brother. He's innocent." Qin Ning nodded. "Sister-in-law, I believe in my brother." Just then, Mrs. Qin came in from outside. "Mian, come and meet your uncle." Huamin stepped forward and greeted him. "Uncle, you're back." Mr. Qin looked a lot like Qin Shu's father, but he was much younger than his father-in-law. "This must be Mian, right? What a good girl." "Mian, I've heard about you from my sister-in-law. Thank you so much for what happened to the family recently. My nephew really didn't choose the wrong person. We're all very grateful for everything you've done for the Qin family. Mr. Qin looked at Huamin with praise and sincerity in his eyes. Uncle, you're too kind. I'm part of this family, so it's my duty to do anything. It's not hard at all. Huamin smiled. Mian, how's the company doing? Mr. Qin asked. To be honest, the company hasn't been doing well recently. The stock market was on the verge of collapse. What about now? How much money do you need? Mr. Qin asked seriously. It's done this morning. Huamin smiled faintly. Mr. Qin froze slightly when he heard this. Done? Isn't there a gap of tens of billions? Yes, but I borrowed it and filled it up. You borrowed it? Mian, are you saying that someone borrowed tens of billions at once? Mr. Qin looked at his 24-year-old niece-in-law in disbelief. Chapter 1568. Yes, uncle. Huamin nodded. But where did you get so much money? Han was surprised. Not to mention a little girl like Huamin, even he and his brother wouldn't be able to get so much money in such a short time. It was my friends who joined forces to help me. Friends like you are so rare. Han was shocked. Han was slightly shocked. Yes, I'm very grateful to them. I brought 8 billion yuan in cash. You can use it first. If it's not enough, I'll go back to the U.S. headquarters and think of something else. Han took out an international check and handed it to Huamin. Uncle, is this enough? Take it, we're family. My brother called me a long time ago. If I didn't go to South America, he wouldn't have come so late. I'm ashamed to say that. Uncle, let's not talk about this. My dad's surgery is about to start. I need to get ready. I heard about you from old Wu. To be honest, I was shocked. Don't feel pressured. Relax. I'll leave Big Brother to you. Don't worry, Uncle, I'll do my best. Good luck, sis-in-law. Qin Ning held Huamin's hand and said affectionately. Lady Qin walked over worriedly. She looked at Huamin and asked hesitantly, Mian, are the chances of success? Mom, to be honest, I don't know, but I'll do my best. Okay, I believe in you. Then, we'll wait for you outside the Or. Huamin nodded. Finally, under the watchful eyes of the Qin family, Huamin changed his clothes and disinfected them. Then, he followed the surgical team into the Or. Huamin was still a little nervous because he couldn't allow himself to make any mistakes. The surgery went on for 7 hours. When Huamin came out exhausted, he almost fainted. Fortunately, the nurse beside him was quick to react. Dr. Hua, are you okay? Huamin shook his head. I haven't been resting well recently. Maybe I'm too tired. I'm fine. Dr. Hua, you don't look too good. You should go back and rest. We've already done everything we could. The rest is up to his willpower. Dr. Liu, what are the chances of my dad waking up now? Huamin asked nervously. To be honest, I'm not too sure. If I have to say, then it's about 35%. Huamin's expression changed slightly. So little? It's already quite a lot. I knew he had brain cancer, but we don't know how he'll recover after the surgery. We don't even know if the cancer cells will spread in his brain, so I really can't give you a specific time. I can only say that it depends on his own luck. Huamin walked out of the operating theater with a heavy heart. Mian, how's your dad? Lady Qin was the first to rush up and ask. The operation was a success. That's great. Lady Qin grabbed Huamin's hand excitedly. Mom, but Dad still needs 24 hours of observation. He's still in critical condition. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Lady Qin stopped smiling. But I'm sure Dad will be fine. Mom, you don't look well. You should go and rest. Huamin comforted her. You don't look well either. You should go and rest too. Huamin shook his head. I have to go to the company to take care of some things. You guys go and keep Dad company in the ward. After leaving the hospital, Huamin drove to GK. However, as soon as he got off the highway, he was blocked by a traffic jam. Hua Xiqian walked up to Huamin's car and knocked on the window. Huamin rolled down the window. Mian, he'll be convicted in the second trial. Everything will be settled by then. Are you really not going to beg me to let Qinshu go? No matter what I say, you won't let him go, right? Huamin looked coldly at Hua Xiqian, who was unusually rational. Why don't you try to please me? Why don't you give it a try? Hua Xiqian looked at Huamian's face with an almost infatuated smile. Chapter 1569. Do you have any shame? Haha, please you? Why don't you just kill me? Huamin sneered at Huasiqian. Then I can understand why you would rather die than please me. Yes. Ha Mian, what do you mean why? Huamin stared at Huasiqian with hostility. Why can Qin Shu and even Su Yu get close to you? Why can't I? I thought I didn't mistreat you all these years. Huasiqian was hurt. Ever since he fell in love with Huamin, he had been treating her well. Huamin was the chairman of the Hua Foundation. On her birthday, he gave her a jade bracelet worth tens of millions. When she had stomach problems, he prepared medicine for her. When she didn't know how to take care of her skin, he sent her facial masks regularly. When she was sad, he didn't know what to do. When Hua Yinyin and Huamin were rude to Huamin, he took revenge for them. When the old man pretended to be nice to Huamin, he destroyed the old man. All of this had something to do with Huamin. But why couldn't she see the good in him? Do you want to know why? Huamin smiled slightly. Huasiqian stared at her delicate face and didn't say anything. Because you don't have a bottom line. You only care about yourself and never think about others. You're selfish and even stepped on so many people's lives to satisfy your selfish desires. Compared to Qin Shu, you lack the most important thing. What? Huasiqian was slightly surprised. She looked at Huamin in confusion. That is a kind heart, Huamin said word by word. Haha, this world doesn't need kindness. It's too cheap. Huasiqian didn't seem to agree with Huamin's point of view. He even made fun of her naivety. Huasiqian, good and evil will come to an end. One day, you will pay for what you've done. Really? Then I'll wait for that day. Huasiqian laughed arrogantly. Huamin stepped on the gas and drove away, not wanting to argue with him. Huamin thought that not only was Huasiqian a psycho, but he was also crazy. Huamian makes sense. The four great families invested their money, along with Qin Shu's uncle. Huasiqian, Huamin, Huamin, who didn't have the right to say anything. That was not a big deal. Huamin worked overtime until 7 p.m. and was about to drive back to Sky Blessing Court. Just then, an uninvited guest suddenly showed up. Huamin, you are? Huamin was confused as he looked at the girl sitting across from him. We've met before. You probably forgot about me. My name is Wang Shasha. You're Huasiqian's date? Huamin suddenly remembered. Yes. Wang Shasha nodded. She was wearing a long black cashmere coat. Her long, wavy hair made her look mature. Her face looked haggard, and she wore light nude makeup. However, she wasn't as stunning or sexy as Immerse. All of the women around Huasiqian were extremely beautiful. That was why this average-looking and uneducated girl was able to gain Huasiqian's favor for a while, causing a lot of controversy. Huamin had never seen her in detail, so he didn't know her well. Did you need something from me? Huamin looked at her and asked. It was quite strange that she would come to the company alone to see him at night. I want to talk to you, she said. About what? About Huasiqian. Sorry, I'm not interested in that man. Huamin immediately refused. You have to listen, because it might have something to do with you. Wang Shasha looked at Huamin with a serious expression on her face. Huamin hesitated for a while and then looked at his watch. I'll give you 20 minutes. You can start. Huasiqian. He's always loved you. Did you know that? Wang Shasha quietly looked at Huamin and asked. Chapter 1570. I do, Huamin said calmly. When he chose me, I was so happy. I didn't know how lucky I was. I couldn't believe that I could be with someone of such status. He provided me with food, drinks, and entertainment, and was so generous. I don't know how many people envied me. Later, I found out that I was just a substitute. He often looked at my face and was lost in thought. Then, he would call out your name. Miss Wang, please get to the point. My time is precious. I was pregnant with his child, but he forced me to abort it. Huamin wasn't surprised. Immerse had the same ending. Even someone like Immerse couldn't give birth to Huasiqian's child, so Wang Shasha was even worse. The truth is, I can understand why he didn't want to keep the child. After all, I was just a drug to him. I didn't take it seriously. but he refused to admit that he touched me and said that the child wasn't his. It pissed me off. He refused to admit it? Huamin didn't think that Huasiqian was such a coward. Did he suspect that you were having an affair with someone else? Huamin asked. Wang Shasha shook her head. No, he forgot to touch me. Speaking of which, there's something very strange. He raised me for a long time, but he never touched me. It's that kind of, he won't have sex with me. But one day, more than a month ago, he suddenly came to me and took off my clothes without saying anything. He was my sugar daddy, so I didn't dare to resist. But it was very strange. His behavior that day was very scary and abnormal. He came in and did it without saying anything, and then left without saying a word to me. Wang Shasha carefully recalled that day. What happened after that? Huamin was interested. After that, he often came to my place, but he didn't touch me anymore. He also didn't mention what happened that night. Maybe he was drunk and forgot? Huamin asked. Wang Shasha shook her head. I don't think so. There was no smell of alcohol on him that night. His eyes were cold, and he looked sober. But his behavior that night was different from usual. It was as if he had become a different person. After Wang Shasha finished speaking, Huamin suddenly thought of the time when he was surrounded by Huasiqian in the company. Later, he refused to admit it. The way he looked at Huasiqian didn't seem like he was lying. Now that Wang Shasha said this, she really became vigilant. There were indeed many suspicious points. Huamin, do you think Huasiqian is mentally ill? Wang Shasha suddenly asked. Why do you ask? I always feel that he has a lot of secrets. Is it strange? Don't you suspect that he has a body double? Huamin looked at Wang Shasha and asked quietly. I don't think it's a double, and it can't be twins. Why? Because the night he had sex with me, I took a look and saw a red mole under his left chest. I saw it when he was changing his clothes. It's definitely him. I just suspect that he's mentally ill. That's why his memory is bad and his behavior is weird. I don't think so. He has regular checkups, and Southside has his medical records. He's very healthy. Not only is he not mentally ill, but he's also very smart and cunning. Huamin didn't agree with Wang Shasha's words. She didn't think Huasiqian was mentally ill. Anyways, I just feel like something's wrong. I saw that he's been working hard on you recently. Anyways, you should be careful of him. Really, I'm just reminding you out of kindness. Thank you for your kindness. Huamin was still very calm. Okay then, I'll leave you to it. I don't plan to stay here anymore. I'll go back to my hometown in a few days and find an honest person to marry. I have some savings now, so I want to go home and start a small business. Bye. When Wang Shasha walked to the door, Huamin suddenly thought of something. She called out, Miss Wang, please wait. What is it? Wang Shasha turned around. Was Huasiqian really with Song Yisher the night she died? Huamin wanted to ask Wang Shasha if she knew anything about Song Yisher's case. Chapter 1571. I'm sorry, I really don't know anything about this. Oh, Huamin was slightly disappointed. In fact, she really wanted to find some valuable clues so that she could clear Qin Shu's name in the second trial and turn the tables. But reality was cruel. Huasiqian is very suspicious. He never lets me touch his phone or ask about his whereabouts. So, I really don't know where he was or what he was doing on the day of the incident. It's okay, I'm just asking. I think you can ask him, oh Shui. She won't tell me the truth. She's helping Huasiqian even if she dies. Then there's no other way. Yang Shasha nodded. After Wang Shasha left, Huamin drove back to Sky Blessing Court. He video called his mother who was in New Zealand. Then, he drove to a nearby supermarket and bought a lot of groceries. Then, he created a WeChat group to chat. In the WeChat group, Huamin sent a message. Is everyone busy? Zhu Lingling. Why did you create another group? Huamin. There's a lot of people in this group. Jiang Xiaowei. What's going on? President Hua? Huamin. Come to my place for dinner. I'll cook for you guys today. Jiang Xiaowei. What's the occasion today? Huamin. A good day for dinner. Gao Ran. What's the occasion? Huamin. Manchu Han Imperial Feast. Gao Ran. I'll be there soon. Zhu Lingling. Damn, it's hard to change your foodie nature. Huamin, Xiao Wei, call Wei Liao. Jiang Xiao Wei. Okay. Suyu, Wei Liao is with me. Huamin, great, you guys can come together. If young Master Tang is free, call him too. Come for dinner in an hour. Suyu, okay, do you need anything? Huamin, just bring him. Suyu, okay, see you later. And Yang, sis, what's going on? Chenjia, Chief, what's wrong? Huamin, it's nothing. I just wanted to invite all of you over for a meal. You've all been working hard and worrying about me. I'll treat all of you to a meal and cook for you. Come early. And Yang, okay, I'll go in a bit. Huamin's call was met with 100 responses, and everyone readily agreed. An hour later, many luxury cars gathered in front of blessed heavenly garden. Lamborghini, Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Suyu drove Wei Liao. Tang Chuan drove his own Porsche Cayenne. Jiang Xiaowei was sent here by the Wei family chauffeur in a Mercedes-Benz RV. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were still driving Jaguars. And Yang drove Chenjia in a black Land Rover. Including Huamin, there were 9 people in total. Huamin used an hour to cook 4 dishes, stewed chicken, and soup. He also bought 4 types of cooked food, making a total of 10 dishes. Everyone gathered around the table and chatted with each other. The atmosphere was great. Huamin walked over in a floral apron. Suyu chuckled. What are you laughing at? Huamin flicked Suyu's head. This style suits you, silly girl. Suyu smiled. Nothing good comes out of dog's mouth. Tang Chuan smiled. Dr. Hua, Lord Su is on his period. Don't lower yourself to his level. Suyu turned around and punched Tang Chuan. Fuck you. Mian, don't be busy. Sit. Jiang Xiaowei pulled Huamin to a seat. Wei Liao looked at the table full of delicacies in disbelief. Did you make all of this? Yeah. A few of them are finished products. I didn't have enough time. Did you stew this ginseng chicken? Sis, it smells so good. And Yang chuckled. Eat more if you think it's good. Let's eat and drink to our heart's content. Girl, there's something wrong with you today. Zhu Lingling suddenly stared at Huamin's face and said, word for word. No. Huamin smiled. Mian, did you call everyone here because you want to discuss a way to save Qin Shu? Jiang Xiaowei asked. Actually, I've already thought of a way. Huamin spoke very slowly with his head lowered. What way? Gao Ran asked impatiently. Chapter 1572. Huamin looked around and chuckled. The solution is, I'll take Qin Shu and run away with him. Fuck, what kind of solution is that? Didn't we already talk about it? Zhu Lingling complained. So you're saying that you're going to break out of jail and run away with Mr. Qin? Or are you going to be released on medical parole? Jiang Xiaowei asked, rationally. It's all the same. We're both going to run away anyway. Huamin chuckled. That's not the same. If you break out of jail, you'll both be charged with a felony and will always be wanted criminals. No matter where you go, you'll have to worry about being caught. If you're released on medical parole, you'll be much safer. Although Mr. Qin will suffer a little in the beginning, he'll be free and legally free. Isn't that what a lot of corrupt officials are like? On the surface, they'll be arrested, but in the end, they'll still be released on medical parole. They'll say that they're going abroad for treatment, but who knows if they're actually cured? To put it bluntly, even if they go to Korea for plastic surgery, they'll come back a year later with a completely different face. Who would want to pursue the matter? This was what Jiang Xiaowei said. She had always been a meticulous person. No wonder she had a Ph.D. in psychology. Wei Liao also supported his wife's point of view and said, she's slightly right. Huamin, you have to think about it carefully. Don't be impulsive. But if it were any other case, it would be fine, but Qin Shu's case is a murder. Plus, it's Mayor Song's daughter. I think he'll keep an eye on this case and won't let him go so easily. Gao Ran said with a heavy heart. He paid attention to this case every day at the police station, so he was the one who knew the progress of this case the best. Just then, Suyu slowly said, Don't worry, leave this to me. I have a plan. Tang Chuan smiled and patted Suyu's shoulder. If I, Lord Su, say so, then don't worry, it'll be done. Come on, let's drink. Everyone knew the power of the Su family. If Suyu dared to say that, then it was most likely true. Moreover, If even the Su family couldn't do anything to him, then others would be even more helpless. Therefore, Su Yu's words carried a lot of weight at this time. Yes, young Master Tang is right. Let's drink. Anyway, you don't have to worry about this. Huamin smiled. Mian, I heard that Uncle Qin Shu is back? Zhu Lingling asked as they chatted. Yeah, and Qi Ming is back too. She can help me take care of my father-in-law at the hospital. I don't have to worry about him anymore. Qin Ning? She is Qin Shu's cousin. Is she pretty? Can you introduce them to me? Tang Chuan interrupted. She's only 19. Why don't you let my little sister go? Huamin laughed. Seeing Huamin's relaxed expression, everyone was relieved. They ate and drank without holding back. Chen Jie was shy and didn't talk much. And Ai Yang kept putting food on her plate and taking care of her. During the meal, Huamin got up to go to the kitchen to get more soup. Tang Chuan came to get more rice as well. As soon as she walked in, he followed. Huh? Do you want more rice? I'll help you. No, I'll do it myself. I won't be polite with you. Tang Chuan laughed. Huamin smiled, but didn't say anything. Huamin, yeah? Actually, to be honest, I used to hate you. Oh? Why did you hate me? Huamin pursed his lips into a smile. It was as if he already knew what Tang Chuan was thinking. Chapter 1573. Because I always thought that you were too pretentious. You were always so calm and cold-blooded, playing hard to get with Lord Su. I always thought that you were playing with Lord Su on purpose, treating him like an idiot. You know, there's a type of woman in this world. If you like her, she'll keep you in suspense even if she doesn't like you back. She'll use your feelings for her to do a lot of things for her. At first, I thought that you were that type of bitch. What happened after that? Huamin asked. They say that distance tests a horse's strength, and time reveals a person's heart. This saying was passed down by our ancestors, and it's true. After such a long time, I've finally seen through you. I also know why Lord Su likes you. The way you handle people is amazing. You're so righteous. Especially that time, when Lord Su was framed for murder. I thought that you wouldn't stand up for him, but I didn't expect that you actually took the initiative to explain yourself. You didn't care about your own reputation and took on so much suspicion and abuse. At that time, I thought that even though you're a woman, you're very manly. Huamin laughed. All women want to be a woman in a man's eyes, but I became a man in a woman's eyes. Tang Chuan nodded. You're so strong that it's scary. You're so good to the people around you, whether it's your family, friends, or lovers. You'll never back down, and you'll always be the first to rush out and take on the responsibility. As a man, whoever has you is really lucky. Bluff. Keep bluffing. Young Master Tang, are you trying to flatter me today? Huamin looked at Tang Chuan with a bowl of soup in his hand and laughed. That's not it. Don't you know my temper? If I like someone, then that's great. If I don't like someone, even if you give me 8 million yuan, I won't praise them. It's just that you've had a hard time getting to where you are. It's Qin Shu's honor to have a wife like you. I'm jealous of Lord Su. Really, it's not like that. I just did what I had to do. It's that simple. All right, don't be so modest with me. All right, you can use the money without worry. Although I'm not the head of the family yet, that little bit of money is nothing to my family. When you're rich, you could talk about returning the money. Don't feel pressured. Young Master Tang, thank you. Huamin was truly grateful. If Su Yu had treated him well, it would have made sense. After all, everyone knew that Su Yu had feelings for her. However, it was true that Tang Chuan and Huamin were only acquaintances. They had never exchanged money. Therefore, to let young Master Tang take out so much money without even an IOU, it was indeed a righteous thing to do. You don't have to thank me. You should accept Lord Su's kindness. I really like Lord Su. He likes you so much, and we're all touched. If he wants to do anything for you, we'll support him. Thank you. Anyways, if you ever need my help, I'll do anything for you. Damn, you don't have to be so scary. When you have time, just introduce me to some hot chicks. Huamin was speechless. What the hell are you talking about? What are you two talking about behind our backs? So you walked in without them noticing. Nothing, I was just talking to Huamin. Tang Chuan smiled wickedly. Is this a place for you to stay? After you're done eating, hurry up and go home, Su Yu jokingly scolded him. It's not your house. Tang Chuan rolled his eyes at him. Fuck, what did you just say? Huh, nothing, you two talk. Tang Chuan ran out with a cheeky smile. Su Yu turned around and looked at Huamin, feeling a little embarrassed. Su Yu faintly said, It's okay, go ahead. Huamin smiled. Chapter 1574. Tang Chuan, that guy doesn't think before he speaks. Don't take his words to heart. What if I take his words to heart? Su Yu was at a loss for words. Huamin burst out laughing. Ever since Qin Chu's accident, Huamin hadn't laughed so happily in a long time. That bright smile warmed Su Yu's heart. I'm just teasing you. I've known him for so long, of course I know what kind of person he is. I won't take it to heart. Plus, young Master Tang didn't say anything. That's good. Are you in the kitchen to get rice too? I'll get it for you. As he spoke, Huamin came over to take Su Yu's bowl. It's okay, I'll do it myself. As he spoke, Su Yu took a small spoonful of rice and left. Everyone seemed to have a good time chatting. Huamin was a good cook. After dinner, he prepared fruits for everyone. It wasn't until 10:30 p.m., when it was getting late, that everyone left one after another. Before leaving, Huamin called Jiang Shaowei to the side and talked to her for a while. When they came out, Wei Liao vaguely felt that Jiang Shaowei's mood wasn't quite right. Perhaps others didn't care too much, but Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei were husband and wife. After living together for a long time, they would have a subtle telepathy. So, on the way back, Wei Liao sat across from Jiang Shaowei and asked, Honey, what is it? What did Huamin talk to you about? Jiang Shaowei hesitated for a moment, then said faintly, Nothing. Then, she lowered her head and continued to play games on her phone. Then why do I feel like your expression isn't quite right? What's wrong? Jiang Shaowei raised her head and looked at Wei Liao. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like you have something on your mind. Now that you've been influenced by me, you want to learn psychology from me, and you want to learn how to read people's minds. No, it's just a feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. It's nothing. I'm just asking. Yes. Is Huamin really going to rely on Lord Su to get him out on medical parole? What else? Jiang Shaowei asked. It's fine. Lord Su is so powerful. Protecting one person won't be a problem. This will depend on how strong Lord Su is. After saying that, Wei Liao didn't ask any more questions. Jiang Shaowei didn't chat with him as usual. She just lowered her head and played games on her phone. Zhu Lingling also felt flustered when Gao Ran went back. Gao Ran, why do I feel like Mian is acting a little weird today? Zhu Lingling asked. Really? Why do I feel like she's the same as usual? She's chatting and laughing. Gao Ran glanced at Zhu Lingling. Something's wrong. I think with my understanding of Mian, there's definitely something wrong with her reaction. Qin Chu's second trial is about to begin. She shouldn't be so relaxed. No, I have to ask her. After saying that, Zhu Lingling lowered her head and sent a WeChat message to Huamin. Lingling, you're overreacting. I think it's because Qin Chu will be fine and Huamin has already thought of a plan, so she's relaxed. It's not like that. I've been her best friend for years. I can feel it. No, something's really not right. Zhu Lingling still felt flustered, but she couldn't describe what she was feeling. In short, today's gathering wasn't really a happy one. A week later, the second trial began as scheduled. Everyone was present, including Huasiqian and Mayor Song. When Qin Chu was brought up, Huamin smiled at him beautifully. Today, Huamin wore a very simple white dress with princess sleeves. It was simple and elegant. Qin Chu's gaze was fixed on Huamin. He missed her very much. He didn't know what fate awaited them after the second trial. Chapter 1575. The second trial's procedure was similar to the first trial. The required evidence was resubmitted. The police lawyer asked Qin Chu some key questions. During the entire process, Huamin quietly looked at Qin Chu's face, his eyes full of love. It was as if Qin Chu was the only man in the world. He cherished and warmed her heart. Mian, don't worry. Qin Shu will be fine. Zhu Lingling felt that Huamin's behavior was abnormal. Therefore, she tightly raised her hand and placed it on Huamin's hand, holding it back. After she went back that day, she sent Huamin a lot of WeChat messages. Huamin didn't answer her directly. He only played Tai Chi with her. After a while, he said that he was tired and wanted to go to bed. Vaguely, Zhu Lingling still felt that something was wrong. Actually, she was a little worried that Huamin had been under so much pressure recently. If he thought too much and then went to bed, would he have severe depression and hide it? If that was the case, it would be serious because people with severe depression would do a lot of dangerous things. Faced with Zhu Lingling's safety, Huamin only glanced at her sideways and smiled. However, the more relaxed Huamin was, the more nervous Zhu Lingling became. After being together for so many years, they still had some telepathy between best friends. Just as the lawyers from both sides finished their statements and the judge was about to announce the verdict, Huamin suddenly stood up and shouted in front of everyone, "Your Honor, I have something to say." At this moment, everyone looked at Huamin, including Qin Shu. He didn't know what Huamin wanted to say at this moment. "Family member of the suspect, please speak." The judge knew their relationship, so he nodded in agreement. "Your Honor, I plan to turn myself in." Huamin's voice was very calm. He spoke very slowly, but his voice was very loud and instantly spread to every corner of the courtroom. "Turn yourself in?" The judge was a little shocked. Qin Shu also had a panicked expression in his eyes. Suyu was shocked, Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were shocked. Hua Xiqian's expression was also extremely complicated. Everyone present, except for Jiang Xiaowei, was shocked. Wei Liao glanced at Huamin and then at Jiang Xiaowei. He saw that she had one hand on her abdomen with one hand. "Slightly, you knew?" Wei frowned and asked her. After dinner that day, Wei Liao felt that something was wrong. He asked Jiang Xiaowei several times, but she didn't answer. Now it seemed that Jiang Xiaowei had known about it and didn't stop her. However, Jiang Xiaowei was very sad. She was very sad about Huamin's actions. At the same time, she also understood how Huamin felt about Qin Shu. "Huamin, what are you talking about?" Suyu was the first to react and immediately stood up. The Qin family members sitting behind Huamin were also confused. They didn't know what was going on. Superintendent He Hongfei of the Major Crimes Division looked at Huamin with a serious expression. "Mrs. Qin, this is murder. It's not a joke. You can't just admit to it. It's a matter of life and death. I'm kindly reminding you to think carefully before you speak. I've thought it through. I killed her, and my husband is innocent. I've been feeling uneasy in my dorm lately, and I don't think it's fair for my husband to take the blame. So, I plan to turn myself in." "Huamin, are you crazy?" Zhu Lingling's expression changed drastically as she pointed at Huamin. "I'm not crazy. I killed her." Huamin smiled. "Due to the complexity of the case, please bring Mrs. Qin here first. We'll deal with it appropriately." Seeing that someone admitted to murder, the judge immediately reopened the case. Mayor Song looked at Huamin with a gloomy expression. Chapter 1576. He actually didn't care who killed his daughter, Song Yishir. He only cared about the fact that whoever killed Shirshir had to pay with their life. Therefore, no matter if it was Huamin or Qin Shu, the murderer had to die. Huamin smiled and admitted that she was the murderer in court, and the case became even more confusing. When she was taken away by the police, Suyu blocked her way. "Huamin, what do you want?" Suyu looked at Huamin with bloodshot eyes, and there seemed to be slightly tears in his eyes. He was all too familiar with the laws of this country, and he knew what the punishment for intentional murder was. "Suyu, I'm sorry." Huamin didn't answer Suyu's question directly. Instead, she apologized to Suyu with a poignant smile. When Huamin was taken away, she happened to be right next to Suyu. They weren't very far apart. The two looked at each other affectionately, and before Qin Shu could say anything, Huamin said, "Honey, I'm sorry for making you suffer. Thank you for taking so long to convict me." Huamin's voice was very loud, and everyone could hear her. Qin Shu's expression changed slightly, and he replied bitterly, "Mian, what do you want?" I can't let you take the blame for me. This is a big deal. I killed her, so I have to take responsibility for it. Just then, Officer he walked over and looked into Hua Min's eyes again. Mrs. Chin, think about it. Murder is not a small matter. This case is very serious. If you're convicted, you'll be executed by shooting. Do you know the consequences of saying that you killed her? I know, Hua Min replied calmly. But we can't just rely on your words. If everyone comes to confess, then we'll be in a mess. We, the police, are particular about evidence. All the evidence now proves that the murderer is Qin Chu. I have evidence to prove that I killed him. Hua Min's words made everyone in the courtroom nervous. Mian, what evidence do you have? Zhu Lingling grabbed Gao Ran's hand tightly. I really don't know, Lingling. I've already been disqualified from this case. A lot of the evidence is confidential. I don't have the right to see it. I really don't know. Lord Su, what's going on? I'm an idiot now. What the hell is going on? Tang Chuan was still in a state of confusion. Daddy, what is my sister-in-law trying to do? Qin Ning asked softly. Qin Chu's uncle just shook his head. He came back very late and didn't know his niece-in-law at all. Qin Yumin was still recovering from his surgery. Lady Qin asked the nurse to watch over him while she listened to the trial. When she heard that Hua Min was confessing, she felt her blood pressure shoot up again. She felt dizzy. Annie, are you okay? Qin Ning helped Lady Qin up. What evil did our Qin family do? Why is Mian involved now? Things are really complicated now. Qin Chu's uncle sighed and said in a low voice. Mayor Song glanced at Hua Xiqian. You knew that Hua Min was the murderer, didn't you? You've been covering for her because she's your sister? Huh? Father-in-law, are you kidding me? How would I know? Plus, Mian is a weak woman. She wouldn't even kill an ant. How could she kill someone? I think she's just spouting nonsense to help Qin Chu get off the hook. Hua Xiqian denied that Hua Min was the murderer. He responded to Mayor Song with a fake smile. Is that really the case? Mayor Song didn't think it was that simple. Chapter 1577. He seemed to know what kind of person Hua Min was. Would this smart girl do something so stupid? Or was she really the one who killed him? Was she telling the truth? It seemed to be a mystery that no one knew the answer to. Qin Chu finally understood Hua Min's intentions. His face turned cold. Mian, sorry, suspect, don't speak. Our judge wants a confrontation in court. If Hua Min can prove that she's telling the truth, the case will be reconsidered. If Hua Min is lying and is only trying to protect Qin Chu, then she will be temporarily detained for interfering with justice, and Qin Chu will still be sentenced. Anyway, no matter what, there would be a verdict today. What I need to do now? Hua Min smiled faintly. Our lawyer will ask you questions, and we will judge based on your answers. The court official looked at Hua Min and said word by word. Sure, ask away. Hua Min's friends and family looked at the extremely calm Hua Min. There was no one who wasn't heartbroken. Now, everyone knew why Hua Min personally cooked for everyone that day. It seemed to be their last dinner. Hua Min knew that this day would come, so he wanted to gather with everyone one last time. Zhu Lingling's guess was right. She felt that something was wrong with Hua Min. Wei Liao was by Jiang Shaowei's side. He was afraid that she would be too sad, so he kept comforting her. Slightly. That day, Hua Min talked to you alone. What did he say? Jiang Shaowei could no longer speak. All she could do was cry. She just kept crying, slightly, don't cry, you're pregnant. It was the first time Wei Liao saw someone as strong as Jiang Shaowei cry. His heart ached. He turned to look at Su Yu and saw that Su Yu was dumbfounded. He couldn't accept it at all, and his eyes were wandering. Hua Min's selfish decision was too sudden for Su Yu. He already said that the Su family would help Qin Chu get medical parole, but why didn't they wait? Hua Min is so stupid. She's so smart. How could she not know that Lord Su would really help Qin Chu get medical parole? Why did she have to do this? Wei Liao sighed. Jiang Shaowei flung his hand away. What do you know? Hua Min isn't stupid. We're the ones who are. We thought things were too perfect. The Su family is powerful, but this is Mayor Song's daughter. If Lord Su could do something about it, he would have done a long time ago. Do you think it's easy to get medical parole? Plus, Huasiqian said that Huasiqian's men are in prison. If he really gets medical parole, do you think Qin Shu will be able to leave prison alive? Who can guarantee that Huasiqian won't do anything to him? Wei Liao was slightly shocked. They hadn't thought about these questions. It seemed like they thought too little. Huamin was always the smartest person here. She would always be able to analyze the situation clearly. Ms. Huamin, please answer our questions carefully. Okay, what was the time of Song Yishi's death? March 27th, 2016, 3:05 a.m. What was the cause of death? The cause of death was suffocation. What was the body's condition at the time? The body was soaked in a bathroom. Her limbs were separated, and her body was dismembered. Huamin calmly answered. Can you tell us where the body was last? The direction of the head? And the exact location of the dismembered body parts? The judge asked seriously. This information was top-secret police files. Aside from the murderer himself and the people from the Major Crimes Unit, no one else knew. So if Huamin could answer, it would be a miracle. If she made a mistake in these details, it would prove that she was lying. Everyone listened nervously, waiting for Huamin's answer. This was a difficult question that even Qin Shu couldn't answer. Chapter 1578. Huamin took a deep breath, glanced around the room, and replied. The body's head was facing up, looking at the ceiling. There was a lot of blood in the bathroom. The limbs were dismembered from the hands and feet. The legs were dismembered from 1/3 of the lower leg, and the arms were dismembered 10 centimeters above the elbow. After Huamin finished speaking, Officer He's expression changed drastically. How did you know? Because I killed him. Huamin was still chuckling with the innocence of a little girl. This was a top-secret file. Other than Officer He and a few leaders of the provincial police department, no one else had access to it. When Qin Shu was being interrogated, Qin Shu kept insisting that he didn't kill anyone. Indeed, he never mentioned the time or the details of the body. At that time, Officer He thought that Qin Shu just didn't want to confess, so he didn't talk about it. Now, it seemed like Qin Shu really didn't know, but Huamin knew everything. It was unbelievable. Officer He, you know the details of the victim best. Is Ms. Huamin correct? The judge asked solemnly. Absolutely correct. Very accurate. He Hongfei really wanted to kneel down in front of Huamin. Officer He replied solemnly in front of everyone. This time, everyone was dumbfounded. Surprisingly, Qin Shu was the only one who was calm. He knew that as long as Huamin wanted to do something, she would definitely do it. She definitely wouldn't talk nonsense and disturb the order here. Since she dared to admit that she killed someone, she was definitely prepared. How is that possible? Gaoran looked at Huamin dumbfoundedly. Even the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau didn't have access to such detailed information. Because this case was too special, Mayor Song ordered all information to be sealed in order to investigate it thoroughly. Now, Huamin could say everything, and it was all correct. This was unbelievable. Could it be that the person was really killed by Huamin? Gaoran was dumbfounded. Zhu Lingling punched him hard. What nonsense are you talking about? Lingling, you don't understand. Song Yishi's information is all sealed. Even the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau doesn't have access to it. How could Huamin know so much? It's possible that Huamin hacked into the Municipal Public Security Bureau security system and read the information. You should know that Huamin is a hacker. Computer is nothing to her. Zhu Lingling. Gao Ren shook his head slightly. The Municipal Public Security Bureau security system is the same as the Provincial Public Security Bureau system. Also, Song Yishi's file is heavily encrypted. Even if a top hacker sneaks in, we will track them. Even if we can't track them, there will be traces that show that they were here. But there really isn't. If there was even the slightest trace, Officer He would have investigated it long ago. We wouldn't be so passive. Zhu Lingling's speculation was denied by Gaoran. So, how did Huamin know all this was a mystery? Huamin, what's your motive for killing Song Yishi? Officer He questioned. Because she always clung to Qin Shu. She was like a dog-skin plaster. She lived between us. Then, did you know about her affair with Qin Shu? No, they didn't have an affair. Song Yisher deliberately wrote that diary to provoke me. Then in what state did you kill her? She told me that she would haunt us for the rest of her life. As long as she was alive, she would never let us have peace. She also said that she would team up with her current husband, Huasiqian, to fight against GK. So you killed her? Officer, he asked. I didn't do it on purpose. I was just too angry at the time, Huamin slowly explained. But as far as I know, Qin Shu went to Song Yisher's mansion at 3 in the morning. How'd you get there? Officer, his questions hit the nail on the head. Normal people wouldn't be able to answer them. Chapter 1579. Qin Shu left before 3 o'clock. After he left, I killed Song Yisher, so there's not much a difference in time. That's why you think Qin Shu killed Song Yisher. But I heard that you were also at South Hill Manor on the night of the crime. Why didn't we see any footage of you coming out? Did you see Qin Shu drive out alone? He Fei Hong had done a thorough research on this case, so his questions were all very sharp. Huo Mian, on the other hand, answered every question calmly. Because when Qin Shu left, I hid in the trunk of his car, so he didn't know. The surveillance cameras didn't show it either. Then how did you come back when you came back? If Qin Shu left first, you couldn't have taken his car back, right? According to him, when he came back, you were already at home. There's a difference in time. Officer, he didn't miss any details. When I came back, I didn't take Qin Shu's car. I took a taxi home. I jumped from the high wall behind South Hill Manor because I knew that there was a collapsed area that hadn't been repaired yet. So it was convenient, and I wouldn't be caught by the surveillance cameras. Can you still remember the license plate number of the taxi you took? Officer, it was so late, and I killed someone. I was so scared. How could I remember? Huamin laughed mockingly. Then why didn't you turn yourself in when Qin Shu was arrested? Because I thought that my husband wouldn't be in trouble if he didn't kill Song Yisher. But now, it seems that you're using him as a scapegoat without concrete evidence. I'm speechless. Haha. Huamin's words angered Officer He. Madam Huamin, I hope you'll mind your words. What do you mean by scapegoat? What do you mean we don't have solid evidence? We only sued when we had sufficient evidence. Please don't doubt our ability to handle cases. Huamin smiled slightly. But as far as I know, my husband can't tell you the exact circumstances of Song Yisher's death, but you still treat him as a murderer. Isn't that a joke? Officer, he was at a loss for words. All the police officers present, including the police lawyer, were speechless. He was stunned by Huamin's question. Seems like you really did kill him, of course. It's normal for you to suspect my husband. After all, he was the last person who saw Song Yisher at the time of the crime. That day, when Song Yisher sent my husband a text message, I was very annoyed. My husband didn't let me go, and I felt even more uncomfortable, so I secretly followed him. In the end, you know what happened. But compared to Song Yisher's body, you're not as tall as her, and you're not as heavy as her. How did you kill her on your own? Officer, don't underestimate my strength. I'm a doctor, and I've done countless surgeries. This is a piece of cake for me. Huamin continued to smile. Then what did you use to suffocate the victim? Officer, he asked the last question. It was also the most important question. They knew about the murder weapon, but other people didn't, not even Qin Shu. However, Huamin also said that Song Yisher died of suffocation. That was right. As for what he used to suffocate Song Yisher, that was another key point. 5 seconds of silence. Huamin slowly said, the murder weapon was a bedsheet. I used a bedsheet to suffocate her. Officer He's eyes widened as he looked at Huamin. Then he pointed his finger at Huamin and said, she's the murderer. Because of the bedsheet, he never announced it to the public. However, when the police investigated the evidence, it was confirmed. Song Yisher died of suffocation, and then her body was dismembered. Impossible. How could Huamin be the murderer? Don't forget that Song Yisher's body was dismembered. She's a girl, and she doesn't even dare to kill a rabbit. How could she have done it? So you couldn't hold it in anymore. He stood up and yelled at Officer He. Chapter 1580. Officer, he turned around and glanced at Suyu. Then, she looked around and said, "You guys seem to have forgotten that Ms. Huamin is an excellent doctor. As far as I know, her medical skills are superb. A few months ago, she passed an exam and got her doctor's license. One of the exams was to dissect a corpse. She took the shortest time in history, but her technique was the most perfect." After Officer he finished speaking, everyone was shocked. "Impossible, no way, it's not her, it's not her." Suyu lost control and was about to rush down. "Lord Su, calm down. This is the courthouse." Tang Chuan pulled Suyu back, his heart aching. She was so afraid that he would do something irrational. Huamin still had a faint smile on her face. "This woman is insane. How could she do this to my daughter? I want her dead." Mayor Song gritted his teeth and said each word. Hua Xiqian, on the other hand, was silent. Huamin didn't kill her because he did it himself. Such a perfect dismemberment was like a perfect piece of art. He thought that Qin Shu was doomed this time. At most, Huamian would think of a way to get out of prison and get Qin Shu out of the country. For this, he had thought of many countermeasures. If they were going to get out of prison and get out of prison, Hua Xiqian would have sent people to do it before their application was approved. If they were going to break out of prison, he would have blown up the prison van before Huamin broke out of prison. Unfortunately, Huamin didn't do that. She chose the most impossible option. It was like playing chess and eating your own pieces. It was such a terrible idea. However, Hua Xiqian couldn't do anything about it. "Damn girl, how dare you do this to me? You're so cruel." Hua Xiqian was furious. A few days ago, when Huamin had a meal with him alone, he had said that he wanted to compete with him in terms of ruthlessness. At that time, he even laughed and said that he wanted to compete with him in terms of ruthlessness. That kind of mocking expression. But now he couldn't laugh no matter what, because Huamin was indeed more ruthless than him. She was willing to sacrifice herself for Qin Shu's safety. But that wasn't the main point. The main question was, how did Huamin know about the police's top secret? He remembered those details even more clearly than Hua Xiqian, the murderer himself. This was simply abnormal. He almost suspected that Huamin had X-ray vision. Did it have a special function? What was the truth? Huamin, right? Of course not. She was just an ordinary person. She didn't have any special abilities, nor did she know anything about the 8 trigrams. She just had a slightly higher IQ than most people. She liked to do things flawlessly. Your Honor, I've finished asking my questions. I can say with certainty that Huamin is indeed the murderer, because all the questions she answered were correct. Moreover, the information is highly confidential and has never been released to the public. Then, I now officially announce the arrest of the suspect, Huamin, the judge announced. Your Honor, please wait a moment. Do you have anything else to say? The judge looked coldly at Huamin. Before you arrest me, please let my husband go first. He's innocent, but you've already locked him up for so long. You can't continue to treat him unjustly, right? The judge was a little embarrassed. Then, he looked at Officer He and said, I announce that the suspect, Qin Shu, has been cleared of murder charges and will be released in court. Hearing that Qin Shu was released in court, Huamin finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then, 2 police officers arrested Huamin and handcuffed him. Qin Shu, on the other hand, removed the handcuffs and was released in court. When the couple walked past each other, Qin Shu looked at Huamin with teary eyes and asked hoarsely, Mian, do you know that murder is a capital offense? I do. Then why did you do it? Qin Shu felt terrible. He held back his tears and looked at Huamin's handsome face. Chapter 1581. Huamin smiled slightly and then said in a very soft voice, I only have 2 most important wishes in my life. My previous wish was to be an excellent doctor, and now it has come true. My next wish is to protect Mr. Qin. I will work hard for this for the rest of my life. Honey, you've done so much for me and protected me for so long. You must be tired. Now, it's my turn to protect you, okay? After speaking, Huamin smiled sweetly. Her eyes turned into crescents, and she looked extremely cute. Qin Chu, who had always been cold and arrogant, burst into tears at that moment. He couldn't control himself. No matter how many people were watching, tears poured out of his eyes like floodwaters. His heart was in turmoil. "Don't cry. I don't want you to cry. Don't worry, I'll be fine." Those were the last words Huamin said. Then, Huamin silently lowered her head and was escorted away by the police. Suyu lost control on the stage and almost rushed off the stage several times. She screamed Huamin's name. "Huamin, come back here, you big liar. I hate you. I hate you." Suyu couldn't accept the fact that Huamin pleaded guilty. Suyu believed that no matter how difficult the case was, Huamin would convince his grandfather to release Qin Chu. It was only a matter of time. But why did Huamin wait? "Lord Su, calm down." Tang Chuan hugged Suyu tightly from behind. "Let go of me," Suyu roared. "Lord Su, we have to think about this carefully. Don't be rash." "No, Huamin can't be detained. I can't accept this. You have to let her go." Suyu's eyes were red. He had lost his mind at that moment. Suyu grew up in a military compound and heard too much about the dark side of the prison. So, he couldn't tolerate a girl like Huamin being locked up in a dark cell like that. It looked like she was going to cause a scene in court. In the end, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan worked together to drag Suyu out of the courtroom and ended this madness. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei walked out of the courtroom in tears. Wei Liao comforted Xiaowei and helped her get into the RV. On the other hand, Zhu Lingling's makeup was smudged from crying. She no longer cared about her image as a beauty. If it wasn't for Gaoran, she would have run over to Huaz, of course. Huaz. Huamian. Huaz. Huamian. Huamians? When Gaoran walked past him, he asked hatefully, "Are you happy now?" Huasiqian only smiled faintly and didn't answer. After Huasiqian and Mayor Song walked out, Mayor Song said with a serious face, "Now that we've confirmed it, let's hurry up and give her the death penalty. I don't think we should drag this out or waste time on the investigation. It's best if she turns herself in. The judge wants to use lethal injection because the suspect is a woman. But my daughter died so tragically and she paid with her life so comfortably. How can I accept that? My suggestion is 3 bullets. What do you think?" Huasiqian smiled. "Okay, as long as you're happy." Mayor Song stared quietly at Huasiqian for 5 seconds as if he was trying to find something in his eyes. But in the end, he didn't find anything. Huasiqian's face was as calm as the water in Mount Changbai. You would never be able to guess what was on his mind. Qin Chu walked out of the courtroom with the Qin family. "Brother, why did my sister-in-law?" Qin Chu followed behind Qin Chu. Halfway through her sentence, Qin Ning noticed that something was wrong with Qin Chu's expression. Qin Chu's second uncle glanced at his daughter. "Ning Ning, your brother is tired. We can talk when we get back." Chapter 1582. Qin Chu's uncle drove a black Bentley Continental. After the 4 of them got into the car, Qin Chu's mother leaned on her son's shoulder and wept softly. "Son, Mian? Mom, how's my dad?" Qin Chu asked faintly. "Your dad's out of the danger zone. He's doing fine, but the technology here isn't mature enough. Your uncle and I are planning to take your dad to Hawaii for treatment." "Okay, too. Mian? Mom, I'm a little tired. I'm going to sleep." After Qin Chu finished speaking, he closed his eyes and leaned against the back seat of the car. He didn't want to talk about Huamin at all. No one knew how Qin Chu felt right now. There was a saying, if a needle doesn't stick in your body, you'll never feel real pain. Not to mention empathizing with him. Inside the detention center. "Warden, where should we put the new prisoner?" "Put him in a 109. The higher-ups told us to put him in solitary confinement." The female warden glanced at Huamin and said. Huamin didn't say anything and followed the female warden into the detention center. Taking the blame for Qin Chu was her final plan. It was also the best way to resist Huasiqian. Suyu's plan wasn't impossible, but Huasiqian had a lot of eyes and ears. If something happened to Qin Chu before he could be released for medical treatment, she would regret it to death. Rick's jailbreak wasn't impossible, but Huamin felt that with Huasiqian around, the jailbreak wouldn't go so smoothly. Anyways, Hua Xiqian wanted Qin Chu dead. As long as she could think of a way to get Qin Chu out of here, she would be fine. Because Hua Xiqian wouldn't let her die. She was confident. At this thought, Hua Min smiled. Ever since Qin Chu's accident, she hadn't felt so relaxed in a long time. Although he was in prison now, he was still in a good mood. Finally, she managed to save Mr. Qin. Inside a high-end private club, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao held down Su Yu to prevent him from acting recklessly. "How long are you two going to stare at me?" Su Yu raised his head coldly. "Lord Su, you have to stay calm at a time like this. We all know how much you love Hua Min, and we won't stop you from saving her. But things aren't that simple. You have to know that Hua Min is guilty of murder. She's the one who dismembered Song Yishi's body. Mayor Song won't let her off the hook so easily." Tang Chuan tried his best to persuade him. His saliva splattered everywhere. He was afraid that Su Yu would be impulsive. "That's why I have to save her quickly. Otherwise, she'll be in danger." Su Yu was anxious. "Even so, you can't cause a scene in court. Not only will it be useless, you won't be able to save her. If someone deliberately uses this to create hype, it'll affect you negatively." Wei Liao said, "Fuck the hype. Fuck the hype. I don't have the time to care about that." Indeed, when Su Yu went all out, he didn't care about anything else. For Hua Min, he was willing to do anything, and he dared to do anything. "But Lord Su, I'm going to say something that you don't like." Her husband didn't even say anything. "Who do you think you are?" Tang Chuan asked. Although he was straightforward, he was right. Upon hearing this, Su Yu fell silent. Hua Min is willing to take the blame to save her husband. But you're just an outsider. If you overreact at this time, Qin Chu will lose face. What will the media write? What will they say about Hua Min? You don't care about your own reputation, but you can't ignore Hua Min, right? She's already a murderer. Don't tell me you want her to be accused of being fickle, willing to have an affair, and even having an affair. This was the first time Tang Chuan had spoken so harshly. However, this dose of medicine seemed to have some effect on Su Yu. He immediately wilted. Indeed, Tang Chuan was right. He could ignore himself, but he couldn't ignore Hua Min. "I can't let Hua Min die. I can't let anything happen to her. I'll go crazy. Do you know that?" Su Yu raised his head, his eyes glistening with tears. For the first time, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao realized that Su Yu, who was trained by the military, had such a weak side. Chapter 1583. Lord Su, we won't let anything happen to Hua Min. Don't worry, now is not the time to be impulsive. If we don't act impulsively, Hua Min is going to die. Didn't you see the judge detain Hua Min? If Song Qingguo wants Hua Min to die in prison, it'll be as easy as crushing an ant. There won't be a second trial this time. Su Yu yelled at Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao looked at each other and fell silent. Lord Su, Xiao Wei probably knows what's going on. How about this? You come home with me first and we'll ask her. The other day at our gathering, Hua Min and Xiao Wei talked a lot. I'm sure he told her everything. Plus, with Hua Min's IQ, I don't think he's the kind of person who would intentionally throw his life away. Let's see what Xiao Wei has to say first. If there's really no other way and Hua Min is in danger, we'll blow up the prison to help you save him. Yeah, Lord Su, you go to Wei Liao's house first. We'll listen to what Xiao Wei has to say first, Tang Chuan said. Upon hearing this, Su Yu's anger finally subsided a little. He stood up and followed Wei Liao and Tang Chuan to Su Yu's house. After Hua Xiqian and Mayor Song parted ways at the courthouse, they returned to the Hua Corporation to deal with some business and then got off work early. An entertainment city under the Hua Corporation was filled with a foul atmosphere. This was where Hua Xiqian laundered his money. It was different from the Rick families. The Rick family also had an underground money house, but it was only targeted at high-end rich people. Hua Xiqian, on the other hand, took in people from all walks of life. Therefore, there were a lot of people and a lot of people there. Usually, a local tyrant named Fu was in charge of managing the place. Ah Fu was terrified of Hua Xiqian. Seeing Huasiqian was like seeing his ancestor. "Boss, are you here?" Huasiqian took off his orange blazer and threw it into his arms. Then, he picked up a lot of chips and walked to a table in the middle, throwing them all in one spot. After the dealer revealed the cards, he only said one sentence: "The dealer wins." Then, he took away all of Huasiqian's chips. He was really unlucky today. His heart felt as if it was blocked by something, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. At this moment, a man at another table was glowing. "Haha, I won again!" The man shouted and raised his cards. 3 aces. Many customers followed suit and praised him. Huasiqian walked over and glanced at him. Suddenly, he lifted the man's arm. Then, he took out a few cards from his sleeve. They were all aces. "Very good, you cheated." Huasiqian smiled. "Boss, I was wrong. I won't do it again." Seeing that he had failed, the man immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. A few big men behind Huasiqian dragged the man out. "Boss, are we still going to cut off an arm like usual?" Afu walked over and carefully asked Huasiqian, "I'm not in a good mood today. What should I do? Then cut off 2 arms?" Afu understood what his boss meant. Huasiqian didn't say anything. Instead, he took out a lighter and played with it. "Both arms and legs?" Afu asked again. Huasiqian raised his head and coldly glanced at Afu. "You're too bloody. It's cruel for us to do this. We could just feed them to the fish. It's also environmentally friendly." Yes, I'll do it right away." Then, Afu immediately turned around and ordered, "Tie them up with a big rock and throw them into the sea." Then, he didn't forget to remind everyone, "The big boss is in a bad mood today. You guys be smart." Huasiqian listlessly looked at the ledger in the secret room of the underground casino. His mind was filled with the scenes from today's court. Huasiqian didn't expect Huamin to do what she did. Qin Shu, Su Yu, and Huasiqian were all heartbroken when they saw Huamin go to jail. It was simply a game of torture. "You little brat. I'm so heartbroken. What should I do with you?" Huasiqian gently muttered to himself. Midnight, in a secret office in the prison, a prison guard made a phone call. "What's up, Mayor? I need to report something to you. During today's physical examination, we found that the female prisoner, Huamin, is a month pregnant. What should we do now?" The prison guard reported in a low voice. When Mayor Song heard this, his face immediately darkened. Chapter 1584. Don't tell anyone about this. Don't let anyone know about this. Then, find a chance to get rid of the child. Mayor Song instructed in a low voice. "Yes, I understand." The prison guard answered carefully and quietly hung up the phone. Mayor Song had been in politics his entire life, so he was very cautious. When Qin Shu was in prison, he contacted his own spies. This prison guard also wanted to do something for the mayor and earn some merit so that he could have a meteoric rise. To put it bluntly, they were just using each other to get what they needed. If Huamin's pregnancy was announced, she wouldn't be released immediately, but she definitely wouldn't be sentenced to death. If her sentence was suspended, she would have to stay in the prison's designated hospital to protect the baby. Plus, if she really gave birth to the child, her death sentence might become a suspended death sentence. Then a suspended death sentence would become a life sentence, and then a life sentence would become a prison sentence. If that happened, Song Yishu's death would be impossible to avenge. Mayor Song lost his daughter, so he was extremely depressed. He had always wanted to find someone to pay for his daughter's death. He didn't care who the murderer was, but the murderer had to pay for his daughter's death. So, when he heard that Huamin was pregnant, he immediately blocked the news, and then found a chance to get rid of the child. After giving his orders, Mayor Song let out a long sigh. Sure, rest in peace. Dad will avenge you." Mayor Song, who was over 50 years old, suddenly had a head of white hair. His daughter was dead. His wife was seriously ill. His family of 3 was broken up just like that. He even thought about retiring and emigrating with his entire family. When his daughter had grandchildren in the future, he would even take care of them. But he couldn't do anything. Song Yishu's death was a huge blow to the Song family. It wasn't just because she was dead. It was mainly because her death was so tragic that her family couldn't accept it. In ancient times, there was a tragic phrase called dying without a complete corpse. The general idea was that if a person died without a complete corpse, they could go to hell after death. Or because their corpse wasn't complete, they couldn't reincarnate. This was a form of blasphemy against the corpse. The reason why Mayor Song didn't care about his identity and secretly did something was because he wanted to avenge his daughter's death. The news of Hua Min's imprisonment shook the entire city. Everyone was in disbelief. How could such a weak girl be the culprit of the 327 massacre? Isn't this too melodramatic? Lin Mingyu walked out of the shower and happened to see the report on TV. According to our latest news, the real culprit of the 327 massacre has turned herself in. She is Ms. Hua Min, the ex-wife of GK's president, Qin Shu. According to the court staff, she admitted to the crime scene and the details of the murder. The police verified the details and confirmed that there was no mistake. Mr. Qin Shu was later released, and Ms. Hua Min was officially arrested. According to an insider, there won't be a second trial this time. Once the court decides, the death penalty will be carried out in the near future. This incident has once again shocked the public. Let's interview a few citizens on the streets and see their reactions to this incident. Reporter: Hello, do you know about 327's case? Citizen: Mr. Zhang: I know. I've been paying attention. Reporter: How did you feel when you found out the real culprit? Citizen: Mr. Zhang: To be honest, I couldn't believe it. Dr. Hua has a good reputation. My family went to her emergency room at Southside before. She's a very good doctor. I really didn't expect her to be a murderer. Lin Mingyu was dumbfounded at this point. What was going on? Hua Min came to him a few days ago to see if he could find any clues to help Qin Shu. But how did she become the murderer? Chapter 1585. Lin Mingyu immediately picked up his phone and made a call to a colleague he knew at the city bureau. After talking for more than 10 minutes, he finally understood the situation. After hanging up, Lin Mingyu still couldn't believe that all of this was real. He still felt like something was wrong. If Hua Min was the murderer, why would she come looking for him and look for clues? Hua Min didn't look like a murderer. But if she wasn't the murderer, why would she know so many details? In short, Lin Mingyu didn't sleep well the entire night. He actually admired Hua Min from the bottom of his heart. When his cousin first introduced them to each other, he already had his eyes on Hua Min. However, because of his pride, he always felt that he was superior as a forensic doctor, so he pretended to be one. In the end, he was instantly killed by Hua Min. Originally, he wanted to pursue Hua Min, but he gave up when he found out that Hua Min already had a lover. That was until a few days ago, when Hua Min announced that their marriage was over. His hope seemed to have been reignited. However, when he saw Hua Min again, he seemed to understand that Hua Min had already shown off her abilities. Whether she was single or not, she had nothing to do with him anymore. Even someone like Su Yu couldn't get a woman like her. Where did he get the confidence to believe that he was better than Su Yu, who was as rich as a country? However, Lin Mingyu still had a sliver of hope for Hua Min. He seemed to treat her as a dream that would never come true in this lifetime. Hua Min isn't the murderer. She probably just wanted to save the person she loves. This was Lin Mingyu's evaluation of Hua Min, which was also his evaluation of this incident. When Hua Xiqian returned to the mansion that night, it was already very late. Mo Shui was waiting on the sofa in the living room, smoking in the dark. Why are you here? Hua Xiqian coldly glanced at Mo Shui's face. I've been waiting for you for a long time. How did you get the key to this place? Hua Xiqian cared a lot about the Hua family mansion. Although there were many unpleasant childhood memories here, there were also good ones, so he was reluctant to move away. This was the place where he had first met the childhood Hua Min. Picking the lock is a piece of cake for me. Mo Shui stood up, put out her cigarette, and slowly walked over. I heard that. Hua Min is a murderer? Mo Shui smiled as she spoke. Her slender fingers caressed Hua Xiqian's chest seductively. Don't mess with me. Hua Xiqian's voice was frighteningly cold. However, he was in a bad mood today. Many people had already suffered. Don't be like this. Maybe you'll only be free after she dies. You can't let a woman lead you by the nose for the rest of your life, right? Huasiqian grabbed Imo Shue's hand and flung it away. Don't mention her to me. You don't deserve to. Huasiqian, don't forget that we're accomplices. Imo was a little annoyed. What accomplices? Huasiqian looked at her quietly. On the night of the crime, although we were together and we drank, I know that you did something to my wine. I'm a light sleeper, so I'll wake up if there's any noise. However, I slept very deeply that night, and when I woke up in the morning, it was already 8 a.m. That's something that has never happened to me in the past 5 years, so I'm certain that you put sleeping pills in my wine. After I fell asleep, you must have left to do something. Then, you came back and made me think that you were there the whole time. You can fool others, but you can't fool me. You might have fooled the police, but I won't. Don't act like a savior to me. I'm not your dog that you can order around. Who does Huamin think she is? What do you mean I don't deserve to? I don't think she deserves to stand next to me. I'm a superstar, and I've been living a glorious life. On the other hand, she's just an illegitimate daughter who shamelessly seduced a rich man. As soon as Imo finished speaking, a cracking sound was heard. The crisp sound of bones breaking could be heard. Chapter 1586. At that moment, Imo was speechless. Her jaw was dislocated by Huasiqian's grip. The heart-wrenching pain spread throughout her body. I'm warning you about 2 things. First, I was with you the night of the crime and didn't leave the apartment, so I don't know what you're talking about. Second, don't ever compare yourself to Huamin. Imo blinked and tears fell from her eyes, but she couldn't say anything. Get out before I kill you. After speaking, Huasiqian walked around Imo and headed to his bedroom on the 2nd floor. His entire aura was oppressive. It was obvious that he was in a bad mood. Imo held her chin with both hands and quickly left the whole mansion. She was the type of person who wouldn't die unless she dug her own grave. She always thought that she was loyal to Huasiqian and that she loved him deeply. She also thought that she was smart enough to play him like a fiddle. Who wouldn't know? Huamin came to her before and threatened her with her brother's criminal record, but she didn't give in. Later, she thought that Huamin would definitely send her brother to prison. However, she didn't. Her brother was fine, and Huamin never came to her again. She really didn't know what that woman Huamin was thinking. Why was she so strange and unpredictable? However, everyone was captivated by her. After Qin Shu was released from prison, he went to the hospital with his family. Qin Yuman hadn't woken up yet, but he was no longer in critical condition. Who did Dad's surgery? Qin Shu asked quietly. Dr. Liu was the chief surgeon, and Mian assisted. I knew it. Qin Shu didn't think it was luck that his father was fine after such a complicated surgery. He originally planned to do it himself, but he didn't have the chance because something happened. When he was in prison, he thought that Huamin would do it herself. It seemed like he was right. Big brother, your wife's medical skills are amazing. If she were to continue her studies in the States, she would definitely win an award, Qin Ning complimented. Now is not the time to say such things, Mom. Qin Ning's father scolded. You go out first. I have something to say to your brother. Oh, okay. After that, Qin Shu's uncle called Qin Shu aside. Chu, do you know about the hostile takeover of the company this time? Yes. I don't think it's safe in China right now. Why don't you move the company to the States? Your dad's illness can be treated there too. Let's go together. What about Mian? Qin Shu raised his head and glanced at his uncle's face. We can bribe the people in prison to get her out on medical parole. Uncle, it's not as simple as you think. I'm afraid Mayor Song and Huasiqian have already thought of what we're doing. Too many people are involved in this, and the situation is completely out of control. Accidents can happen at any second. I won't leave. I have to save Mian. Then, Qin Shu turned around and left. Hey, Chu, Qin Shu's uncle thought the situation was simple and thought that money could buy everything. But if it was that simple, why would Huamin put himself in danger? When Qin Shu walked out of the hospital and got into his car, he received a call from Jiang Xiaowei. Hello, Qin Shu. I'm Jiang Xiaowei. Where are you right now? The hospital. Let's meet. Huamin want me to tell you something, Jiang Xiaowei said with a heavy heart. Chapter 1587. Qin Shu and Jiang Xiaowei were meeting at Seductive Fox. At a time like this, Rick's place was the safest place to be. Jiang Xiaowei walked into the designated private room, where Qin Shu was sitting. He was wearing a black slim-fit suit and looked haggard. His eyes were filled with melancholy. The waiter closed the door for them. Jiang Xiaowei took a deep breath and spoke first. Mian, she talked to me alone at a party a few days ago. What did she say? Qin Shu asked in a low voice. She said she's been thinking about it for a long time, and this is the best way. The best way is to kill herself in exchange for me. Qin Shu raised his eyebrows, unhappy with his wife's decision. He was furious, but at the same time, his heart ached. She didn't have a choice. Mian's plan was more perfect than any of us. Qin Shu took out a cigarette and was about to light it when he remembered that Jiang Xiaowei was pregnant. He held the cigarette in his hand and didn't light it. How did she know so many details? Qin Shu was surprised as well. Where did Huamin learn so many details about the murder? It was almost as if she knew the truth. She talked to Lin Mingyu alone a few days ago. Lin Mingyu? Qin Shu looked up and frowned slightly, as if he didn't know of this person's existence. Jiang Xiaowei explained. He used to be Mian's blind date. The head nurse at the first hospital introduced him to her. He's a forensic doctor and was specially hired by the city bureau. Like me, he works in the public security system. Mian bribed him? Qin Shu asked. Jiang Xiaowei shook her head. Mian isn't that careless. All of us in the public security system are very cautious. We don't take money for nothing. Responsibility is important. This time, the situation is very serious. Even if Lin Mingyu ate a leopard's guts, he wouldn't dare to do something like that. Qin Shu didn't say anything and listened in silence. Jiang Xiaowei hesitated for a moment and then said she found an excuse to borrow Lin Mingyu's phone and planted a virus in it. Lin Mingyu's phone and computer share data. Although there were a few password locks, Mian was able to unlock them all. The advantage of doing this is that she wouldn't leave any traces behind and arouse suspicion. If she had directly hacked into the public security system, people would have been able to find traces of her. This is how smart she is. In the end, Jiang Xiaowei smiled bitterly. I didn't know that my Mian was a master hacker. She didn't tell you that when she was in the 5th grade, she thought it was fun and hacked into Sea City's power supply headquarters out of curiosity. She turned the entire city into darkness in an instant. Qin Shu smiled as he recalled the past. It was as if that playful and intelligent girl was right in front of his eyes. No wonder people say that Mian is a genius. I used to think that she was only good at medicine. I didn't think. What else did she say? Qin Shu knew that Huamin must have told him something very important. Mian said that you guys should leave first. It's not safe here. Huasiqian won't stop plotting against you. She wants you to take your parents, uncle, and sister and evacuate. She'll transfer all of the company's funds to your Swiss bank account. You'll only be left with an empty shell. Once she finds a way out, she'll go to the States to find you guys. When will she come out? Qin Shu asked calmly. Chapter 1588. She didn't say anything. She just said that you don't have to worry about her safety and that she'll be fine. But you, on the other hand, are in danger every day you stay here. Isn't she in danger? She's about to face the death penalty. Qin Shu's expression darkened. What was Huamian thinking? She didn't say anything, so how could he leave? She said, she'll be fine. Huasiqian won't let anything happen to her. Jiang Xiaowei repeated Huamin's words. Indeed, everyone knew how much Huasiqian cared about Huamin. Hua Xiqian wouldn't just stand by and watch Huamin die, but don't forget, Hua Xiqian isn't a god. Mayor Song is involved as well. He's been in office for many years and has a lot of connections. There are all kinds of people in the prison. Maybe before Hua Xiqian makes a move, something will happen to Hua Mian. I can't take that risk. I can't place Hua Mian's safety in Hua Xiqian's hands. Then what do you plan to do? I'll kill Hua Xiqian and bomb the prison at all costs. Even if it means destroying the world, I'll save my Mian. After speaking, Qin Shu stood up and left. Qin Shu. Jiang Shaowei wanted to say something, but Qin Shu didn't give her a chance to speak. Huamin wanted Jiang Shaowei to persuade Qin Shu to leave first. But why would Qin Shu leave? Jiang Shaowei knew that her words were useless. Qin Shu wouldn't listen to her. Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling were both Hua Min's good friends. The reason why he didn't tell Zhu Lingling was that she was too emotional and would show all her emotions on her face. She couldn't hide things in her heart, so she made things difficult for the pregnant woman this time. Jiang Shaowei helped Huamin hide it from everyone. In fact, she already knew that Huamin was going to take the blame during the gathering. Perhaps the police would never know that Huamin had done something to a forensic doctor. On the day that Huamin and Lin Mingyu had dinner, the Public Security Bureau had sent someone to follow them. They even planted a bug in the restaurant, but Lin Mingyu didn't say anything. That was why the matter was left unsettled. Who would have known that Huamin had already implanted a miniature virus into his body? As a top-notch hacker, she had not tampered with computers for many years. The small virus was developed overnight. The advantage was that after it entered the phone, it would steal all the data within 3 minutes. Then, it disappeared as if it had never been poisoned. Therefore, even if someone checked Lin Mingyu's phone in the future, they wouldn't find anything wrong with it. The person involved didn't even realize that he was being used. Huamin actually felt quite guilty towards Lin Mingyu, but she had no other choice. Otherwise, she wouldn't have deliberately used him. The next morning, Qin Shu drove his Maybach to GK headquarters. However, when he got off the highway, a large truck came towards him. Fortunately, he turned the steering wheel in time and reacted quickly. He immediately dodged. However, a gray van appeared out of nowhere. It was only a little bit behind Qin Shu's car. Qin Shu made another turn, and at this moment, 2 motorcycles appeared out of nowhere. The people riding the motorcycles were wearing racing uniforms and heavy helmets. They were also holding baseball bats in their hands. When they rushed over, they aimed at Qin Shu's car window. He held the steering wheel with his left hand and took out a pistol with his right hand. He raised his hand and shot at the tire. Then, he fired a second shot at the motorcycle at the back, knocking it down. Inertia and speed caused a chain accident. Qin Shu quickly ran out of the gap and left the dangerous situation. Fortunately, he dodged in time, or else he would have been turned into a meat patty. This was definitely not an accident. It was man-made. The passers-by were all dumbfounded. They thought that they were filming a blockbuster. The scene was so explosive. When he arrived at the company, just as he walked into his office, Qin Shu's phone rang. The caller ID was Hua Xiqian. Qin Shu hesitated for a moment, then picked up the phone. "The gift just now, do you like it?" Hua Xiqian chuckled. Chapter 1589. One day, I'll pay you back double for everything you did to me and Mian. Ha! I'm really looking forward to it. Qin Shu, you're nothing more than a man who relies on women to take the blame for you. How dare you say you love Mian? What a hypocrite! A hypocrite like me is much better than a despicable person like you. At least a hypocrite won't hurt others, but you've stepped on so many people's lives. You're willing to do anything to achieve your goals. Hua Xiqian, aren't you afraid of divine punishment? Ha! Qin Shu, don't tease me, okay? Divine punishment? If God had eyes, he would have saved my childhood. Since he's blind and indifferent, why should I care about him? The one who can truly save myself is never God, but myself. Qin Shu, from now on, our war has officially begun. It's good that Mian's in there. When she comes out, you'll probably be dead by the time she comes out. Really? Then let's see who's the one without a corpse left. Then the two hung up at the same time. Chin Chu walked to the window and looked out coldly. He couldn't feel any warmth at all. The moment little Mian was detained, his heart seemed to have been frozen. For someone like Hua Xiqian, dying without a corpse would be a light punishment. Chin Chu thought that he should be reduced to ashes to vent his hatred. Mian, don't be afraid. This time, I'll do whatever it takes. Chin Chu raised his hand and gently touched the glass window. There seemed to be a delicate face on it. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were silent at home. Zhu Lingling was crying, and Gao Ran was also silent. He called Chin Chu, but Chin Chu didn't pick up. He didn't know what to do now. Just then, Gao Ran's phone rang. Hello? Big brother Gao Ran, it's Jixin. Jixin, I called Sister Lingling, but her phone was turned off. Oh, then it's probably out of battery. What's the matter? Jixin. The other party hesitated for a moment. Then, Jixin said, Brother Gao Ran, where's my sister? Ahem. Your sister has been very busy recently. You know, there are too many things going on at the company. She's been very busy. Don't hide it from me. I have a classmate in Sea City. He told me everything. He said that my sister is a murderer. Jixin, don't overthink it. Your sister didn't kill anyone. She did it to buy time so that she could save your brother-in-law first. I also called brother-in-law, but he didn't pick up. He's not in a good mood right now. I don't think he'll answer anyone's call. Brother Gao Ran, I want to go back. Jixin, don't be impulsive. The situation in the country is very chaotic right now. If you come back, not only will you not be able to help, you might even become a burden to your sister. Really, listen to me. We'll definitely think of a way. I'm already back. I'm transferring flights now. I'll arrive tomorrow. Gao Ran didn't expect Jixin to come back so soon. My mom isn't back yet. I asked a friend here to take care of her. I told her that I'm going abroad to sketch. That's good. Gao Ran sighed in relief. If Huamin's mother found out, she would probably be even sadder. Su Yu's private mansion. Su Yu was on the phone. Young Master Su, I really can't agree to your request. You know, this case is too important. Mayor Song told me several times. Also, the higher-ups have ordered that this woman is on death row. To put it bluntly, they're waiting for her to be executed. They won't let anyone see her. Warden's son, do you remember that your son Xiao is in the military? He's a company commander, right? Yes. A company commander is too young. I think he should be promoted to a regiment commander. The man seemed hesitant. Also, I heard that your eldest daughter in her husband's company is having a cash flow problem. I think the Su family bank can give them an interest-free loan. Young Master Su, we can't do that. How about 1 billion? Lord Su, you can't give me a hard time. I'm in a difficult position to 3 billion. I don't think that's a good idea, young Master Su. It's settled then. I want to see Huamin at 9 tomorrow morning. If she loses a single strand of hair. I'll talk to you then. Then, Su Yu sneered and hung up the phone. Chapter 1590. After hanging up the phone, Su Yu sighed slightly. He knew that it was difficult for the warden. After all, this matter was related to Mayor Song. Therefore, when Su Yu was talking to the warden, he used both the carrot and the stick. On one hand, he gave the warden benefits, and on the other, he threatened the warden. In the end, the warden had no choice but to agree to Su Yu's request. However, Su Yu had to pay a price for this. He took out an interest-free loan of 3 billion yuan and promoted the warden's son through his connections in the military. If his grandfather knew about this, he would probably be scolded to death. But for Huamin, it was all worth it. Su Yu couldn't sleep for the entire night. He was even a little excited. When no one else was able to see Huamin, he was extremely lucky to be able to. The next morning, at 8 a.m., Su Yu drove a low-key black Mercedes-Benz 600 and parked it not far from the prison. He was afraid that the black Lamborghini would attract the media's attention, so he changed his car. At 9 a.m., Su Yu got out of the car on time. He usually liked to wear white, but today he only wore a dark gray jacket and a black cap. The brim of the cap was very low. Young Master Su, our boss told us to come this way. The warden arranged for people to pick up Su Yu and bring him in through a secluded passage. The person stopped in front of a very dark secret room. Young Master Su, because this isn't a formal visit, we can only do it here. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. It's fine. Also, the visitation time is only 10 minutes. You must hurry up. 10 minutes? That's it? Su was slightly taken aback. Young Master Su, to tell you the truth, our boss violated the rules this time as well. If people find out, the consequences will be unimaginable. You should know how many of Mayor Song's men are here. He's keeping a close eye on us. If anything goes wrong, our boss and I will be punished. Okay, I understand. Su nodded. He didn't want to waste any more time. Then, that person opened the door to the secret room, and Su turned and went in. Huamin was brought to a small and narrow secret room. He thought that they were going to extort a confession, so he raised his vigilance and prepared himself for any eventuality. But when she saw that the person who came in was Su, she was a little dumbfounded. You, why are you here? Huamin's eyes widened. I'm here to deliver your lunchbox, Su said half-jokingly. Huamin was stunned. She didn't expect that there would still be someone who could visit her. When Qin Shu was imprisoned, she thought of many ways, but she still couldn't see him. Now that Su had come to see her, one could imagine the price he had to pay. Because it was not a formal visit, there was no need for them to be separated by glass. It was the kind where they could meet face to face. Su sat opposite Huamin. Looking at the slightly haggard Huamin, his heart began to ache. You've lost weight. Is the food not good? Su asked. Huamin shook her head. My food is provided separately. Every meal is 4 dishes and 1 soup. It's good, but I don't have a good appetite, so I can't eat. That's good. Did anyone bully you? No, I was in prison alone. I didn't have time to go out, so I didn't have any contact with other prisoners. What about the prison guards? No, they were very nice to me. Did anyone extort a confession? No. Huamin shook her head. That's good, that's good. Su repeated it twice and seemed to be a lot more relieved. The reason why he was in such a hurry to see Huamin was because he was afraid that she would be bullied in there. How did you get in? Huamin looked at Su and asked calmly. Chapter 1591. Oh, I happen to know the warden, so I called him and came here. It's simple. Don't lie to me. I'm the murderer of a major murder case. I tried so many connections, but couldn't even get a chance to see Qin Shu. You must have put in a lot of effort to come in and see me without a tape separating us. No, it was simple. Su lowered his head, not daring to look at Huamin. Su, yeah? Go back. Go back and be good. Don't worry about me and don't get involved in this mess. This is the path I chose. I don't want to drag you guys into this. Bullshit. How can I watch you throw your life away? I came here this time to tell you not to worry. Don't panic. In less than half a month, at most half a month, I will definitely let you out. Huamin smiled sadly. I'm a murderer. Su looked up and looked deeply into Huamin's eyes. I know you're not. You only said that because you wanted to save Qin Shu. I don't know how you got the police's secrets, but what you did really broke us. I don't think Qin Shu would be happy. If he was saved and you died, I don't think he'd want to live alone. So, your plan wasn't perfect. Genius. You're really stupid. Listen to me. Su, I'll be fine. Hua Xiqian is the mastermind behind this case. He knows the whole process and even planned every step. I can guarantee that he has people in the prison, so he won't let me die. But he's crazy. Even if he doesn't let you die, he won't let you out in one piece to be with Qin Shu. You know, you can't bet your life on a crazy person. Su was a little agitated. Huamin bit his lips and slowly lowered his head. But I have no other choice. Perhaps this outcome isn't the worst. No, you still have a choice. You still have me. I'll get you out of here. When the time comes, you can go abroad with Qin Shu or change your name and live in seclusion. It's up to you. But I won't let you die. I'll get you out of this godforsaken place. Su promised. Su, Huamin seemed to want to say something. The door opened and the person outside said, Young Master Su, it's almost time. Hurry. Su nodded and got up slightly. Su, can you help me pass a message to Qin Shu? Go ahead. Tell him to leave this place first. He must leave. Well, I can get out. I will definitely look for him. All right, I'll definitely pass on a message. But it's up to him whether he leaves or not. He must leave. Otherwise, Huasiqian will still set him up. Huamin insisted. But he won't leave you behind. Then tell him that if he doesn't leave, I'll kill myself in prison. Huamin was determined. Huamin, Suyu, I'm sorry. Let me be stubborn just this once. Tell Qin Chu that this isn't a joke. After 5 seconds of silence, Suyu nodded. Okay, I'll tell him. After speaking, Suyu turned around and left. 10 minutes was a short time, but Suyu was already very satisfied. Seeing that Huamin was safe and sound, he felt extremely relieved. The next step was to figure out a way to get Huamin out. When he walked out of the prison, Huamin took out a list and stuffed it into the hands of the person who led him here. Bro, thank you for your hard work. Take good care of her for me. Here's some tea for you. Before the person could refuse, Suyu left through the back door. Chapter 1592. The man looked down and saw that it was a check for 500,000 yuan. 500,000. His monthly salary was only 5,000 yuan, which was a little over 50,000 yuan a year. That was 10 years of salary. Everyone said that young Master Su was generous, and it seemed like he lived up to his reputation. When Suyu came out, he sat in his car and smoked 3 cigarettes in a row. He thought about what Huamin just said. He wanted Qin Chu to leave because he was afraid that he would be in danger. If Huasiqian dared to be so brazen, it meant that he had a lot of people around him. He had the confidence to do so. Qin Chu would never be as despicable as Huasiqian. He lost because he was too kind. Huamin knew Qin Chu well, so he asked him to leave first. Once they reached the United States, they would no longer be in Huasiqian's territory. He couldn't do whatever he wanted. Guns were legal in the United States, so even if Qin Chu killed Huasiqian, nothing would happen to him. However, Suyu also knew that Qin Chu wouldn't leave. How could he leave Huamin here alone? Therefore, this couple really put him in a difficult position. Half an hour later, Suyu drove directly to GK headquarters. He didn't pass anyone and went straight to the top floor. He pushed open the door to the president's office. An assistant Yang couldn't stop him. Boss, President Su forced his way in. We couldn't stop him. Assistant Yang looked like he was about to cry. It's okay, you can leave. Qin Chu looked up at Suyu, but didn't say anything. Suyu walked over, leaned on the desk with both hands, and looked at Qin Chu closely. Did I just see Huamin? Qin Chu's 1,000-year iceberg expression suddenly revealed a look of surprise. He looked up and saw Suyu. I only saw her for 10 minutes, so I'll keep it short. She's fine. She didn't get hurt. She just looked a little haggard. Huamin asked me to pass on a message to you. Speak. She wants you to leave as soon as possible. Leave this place and go to America first. Then, when she finds a way out, she'll go to America to look for you. Impossible. Qin Chu directly refused. She knew you would say that, so she told me. Explain what? Qin Chu looked at Suyu quietly. Suyu took a deep breath and turned his head. His voice was very soft. She said that if you don't leave, she will die in prison. In an instant, Qin Chu's heart shrank into a ball. However, he could imagine how Huamian felt when she said something like that. So, I also think you should leave. Don't make her worry. Suyu tried to persuade Qin Chu. So I can watch her die with a clear conscience. Qin Chu replied coldly. She won't die. I won't let her die. If you trust me, you can leave first. After I rescue Huamin, I will send her to America to reunite with you. I'm sorry, but I don't trust anyone when it comes to Mian's life. So, you insist on staying? Yes, at any cost. Qin Chu's attitude became even more resolute. So you really wanted to tie the couple up and feed them to the fish. They were too stubborn. Okay, then it's your problem. From now on, we'll save Huamin with our own abilities. After Huamin is out of danger, I'll deal with that bastard Huasiqian. After speaking, Suyu turned around and left. Wait, Qin Chu called out from behind him. Is there anything else? Suyu turned around and glanced at Qin Chu's face. If something happens to me one day and I can't be with Mion anymore, I hope you can take good care of her. What's this? Last words? You're leaving your wife to me? So you looked at Qin Shu in disbelief. He was on the verge of breaking down. You can interpret it however you like. Anyways, that's it. After speaking, Qin Shu lowered his head and went back to work, ignoring Suyu. Suyu felt like thousands of alpacas were running through his heart. He wanted to kill someone. He was going crazy. Mo Shui, O's private apartment. After the two of them did it, Jiang Yi hugged Mo Shui and asked, "Honey, Huamin is in jail right now. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Isn't Hua Xiqian going to save him?" Chapter 1593. Mo Shui sneered. How's that possible? Huamin is the apple of his eye. Even if he doesn't care about anyone else, he'll still care about Huamin. Jiang Yi was slightly surprised. I didn't know that someone as selfish as Hua Xiqian would love someone so much. Mo Shui's heart ached. That's because they've known each other for a long time. Some people are very sentimental. The older something is, the more they cherish it. Mo Shui's heart ached when she thought about how Huamin and Hua Xiqian had known each other since they were young. That's easy. When you're old, when you're 80 years old, Hua Xiqian will still remember you. Jiang Yi teased. Go away, you bastard, you've got to be kidding me. I don't even want him to remember me. I just hope that he won't be so cruel to me. All these years, forget it. Let's not talk about him. How do you think Hua Xiqian will save Huamin? Will he find someone to take the blame? Or will he just turn himself in? Turn himself in? Are you kidding me? Do you think he's that stupid? Mo Shui looked at Jiang Yi with disdain. I'm really curious. At this point, how will he control the situation? After all, Hua Xiqian probably didn't expect Huamin to be so extreme. Mo Shui turned around, looked at Jiang Yi, and smiled. You seem to care a lot about Huamin. Why? You still haven't forgotten? That's just how I am. You know that the more I can't have something, the more I want it. Jiang Yi chuckled. I can't think of how Hua Xiqian will save Huamin, and I don't want to think about it. Anyways, let's just wait and see. This isn't something we can get involved in. The water is too deep. The Qin family wants to save Huamin, the Su family wants to save him, and the Hua family. Anyways, with so many people watching, it's going to be interesting. I'm actually thinking that if Huamin really dies quietly in prison, and when they come to save him, they'll see a corpse. That would be interesting. Swear, evil. Haven't you heard of it? I've never been merciful to begin with. Anyway, Huamion's life has nothing to do with me. It's better that she's dead. She's lucky that she's still alive. The Hua corporations, after a busy day, the sun began to set, and the sky gradually darkened. The entire building quieted down. Hua Xiqian held a glass of red wine and slowly sipped it. Ah Sang's Loneliness is Singing was playing in his office. It's dark. Loneliness is slowly seeping away. Someone's heart is beginning to ache. I've loved her for a long time, and I haven't seen her in a long time. She's still alive. Hua Xiqian had been in a bad mood lately, and his smile had faded. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Come in. Boss, where are the photos? They're all here. His subordinate took out a brown paper bag and handed it over. Hua Xiqian put down the wine glass in his hand and took out the photos in the brown paper bag. There were more than 20 photos of Huamin. There were all kinds of photos, and the background was obviously taken in prison. Hua Xiqian picked up the photos one by one, and his gaze became gentle. She's lost weight. Is she not eating well? No. I checked, and Miss Hua eats very well. According to your orders, there are special prison guards taking care of her. She eats 4 dishes and 1 soup every meal, but Miss Hua doesn't have a good appetite, so she eats very little. That's right. If you were locked up, you wouldn't be in the mood to eat. His subordinate didn't dare to say anything. Any news from the prison? Chapter 1594. Not yet. I don't know if he'll be tried directly or sent out for investigation. We're all waiting. I got it. Hua Xiqian said as he flipped through Huamian's photo again and again, unable to put it down. Boss, why don't we find someone to take the blame? That way, Miss Hua can be released. What about after she's released? Then she can be with Qin Chu forever? Hua Xiqian asked. His subordinate didn't dare to say anything. You've been with me for a long time, so you should know that I won't do something so crude. Mian has so much evidence to prove that she's the murderer, so I can't find someone else to take the blame. It's not convincing, and it'll only complicate things. But if it's too late, I'm afraid that Miss Hua will be in danger. I heard that Mayor Song has people in prison as well. I'm afraid that they'll do something to Miss Hua. Don't worry, Song Qinghua is a sly old fox. Even if he wants to do something, he won't dare to do it in prison. He doesn't have the guts. I know what to do. You can leave now. Yes, boss. After his subordinate left, Hua Xiqian turned on his computer screen. The wallpaper on his desktop was a picture of an island with beautiful scenery. This was a private island in the South Pacific Ocean. It wasn't on a map and was considered private property. Hua Xiqian bought this island a year ago and began building it on a large scale. He built a paradise on the sea that was comparable to the Maldives. He thought that if Mian could come back one day, he would take her there. Then, the two of them would live the life of an immortal couple on the island. Huomin's actions this time really caught Hua Xiqian off guard. It was really unexpected, but he could accept it. After all, that guy was a genius, so it was normal for him to have strange ideas. No one knew what Hua Xiqian was thinking, but he already had a perfect plan in mind. With Mayor Song's temper, he would use his connections to get Huomin to execute Huomin, and it would be soon. Hua Xiqian only needed to arrange everything on the day of the execution. He would use a death row inmate to disguise himself as Huomin and die in place of Huomin. Then, he would create a fire at the scene and burn the bodies beyond recognition. This way, everyone would think that Huomin was really dead. Then, he could take Huomin to live on a private island without any worries. He did not need to hypnotize Huomin, nor did he need to make Huomin lose his memories. This was the Huomin that he loved. All he had to do was put Huomin under house arrest and live with him on the island for the rest of his life. A lifetime was a very long time. He believed that one day, Huomin would fall in love with him. Thinking that his wish was about to come true, Hua Xiqian's heart skipped a beat. He looked at the picture of the island on his computer screen and smiled gently. Mian, it's going to be soon. Just wait a little longer, and we can go to the heaven that belongs to the two of us. Before this, he had to do one more thing, and that was to get rid of Qin Chu. Otherwise, Qin Chu would haunt him and Huomin for the rest of their lives, he thought. Inside the mayor's office, Mayor Song's personal phone rang. He picked up his phone and looked at the number. Then, he looked around and made sure that it was safe before picking up the phone. What is it? Mayor, I don't have a chance to do it. There are too many people protecting her. There are a few forces, and even the warden comes to visit her once a day. It's not that I don't want to do it. What do you think? The man in the prison was in a difficult position. Chapter 1595. Mayor Song was silent for a moment. Then, he slowly said, It's okay. A day or two won't make a difference. I've already applied for a death sentence. You just have to hide the fact that she's pregnant. After she dies, it'll be too late for a forensic examination. We can't bring her back to life. Okay, that's easy. I'll definitely do it. Thank you for your hard work. After this is over, I'll transfer you directly to the National Tax Bureau. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Huomin was pregnant and not a single friend knew about it. Even she didn't know about it. She had been so busy recently that she didn't even think about it. She didn't expect that the first person to find out was her enemy. How ironic. Because a pregnant woman couldn't be sentenced to death, she would be locked up for investigation. After the child was born, the sentence would be announced. At that time, for the sake of the newborn, the death sentence would be changed to a reprieve. Mayor Song would never let something like that happen, so he didn't hesitate to hide the fact that Huomin was pregnant. Mayor Song, who had lost his daughter, no longer considered whether he was going to harm an innocent little life. Tokyo, Japan. Inside the headquarters of a certain corporation, an elevator was slowly rising. A white-haired Japanese man in his 50s was inside, holding a briefcase. When the elevator reached the 18th floor, it stopped and the door opened. A young girl in a white school uniform with two cute braids walked in. When she smiled, she looked especially beautiful with her watery eyes. The man's eyes scanned the young girl's body pervertedly. The elevator door closed, trapping the two of them in an enclosed space. "Are you a student?" The man couldn't help but ask. "Masao Takata, right?" The young girl asked. "I am." The young girl smiled sweetly. "I'm here to give you a present." "A present for me?" The man was slightly surprised. The young girl reached under her skirt and took out a gun with a silencer between her legs. She aimed at the camera in the elevator and fired. There was a loud bang. The man was so scared that his face turned pale. "Don't kill me, don't shoot, don't shoot." The young girl smiled slightly. "Don't worry, I won't shoot you." Then, the young girl took out a small device from her hairpin and stuck it on the back of the man's head. Then, she smiled charmingly. "Goog, look." The man was terrified and curled up in the corner of the elevator. With a ding, the elevator stopped to the top floor. The girl ran straight to the rooftop, then quickly fixed the pulley and slid down from the 38th floor with a steel cable. There was a black Toyota waiting for them behind. "Boss, are you done?" "Okay, let's go." The girl jumped into the car and put on her black windbreaker. The car quickly left the building. The entire process took 1 minute and 35 seconds. Just as the car started to leave, a deafening bang came from the top floor of the commercial building. "Boss, well done. This guy's biochemical weapon has poisoned so many innocent women and children during the SOE war. This time, we've taken the money to kill him. We're doing justice for the heavens." The girl chewed her gum and didn't respond. "Boss, are we going to Mexico next?" One of his subordinates asked. "No, it's City C," a clear voice sounded. "But didn't the professor say that you're not allowed to enter the country? This time I have to go. Otherwise, she might not be able to come out." The young girl leaned against the car seat and said lazily with her eyes closed at this moment, Huamin was still in prison. He was eating slowly, calmly, and calmly. She didn't know how many people's hearts were affected by her imprisonment. Chapter 1596. Zhu Lingling's house. Jiang Xiaowei, Zhu Lingling, and Gao Ran were all sitting on the sofa in the living room. Jixin opened the door and walked in. He was wearing a dark green windbreaker and seemed to have grown a lot taller. "Sister Lingling, sister slightly." "Brother Gao Ran," Jixin said quietly. "Jixin, come and sit down." "Jixin, have you seen your brother-in-law?" Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. "I have. How's Qin Chu doing right now?" Gao Ran asked. "Brother-in-law is in a bad mood. He said that he has a way to save my sister and that I shouldn't worry. Mr. Qin is really going crazy this time. He won't listen to any of us. What should we do?" Zhu Lingling was a little flustered. "Sister Lingling, did Huasiqian start this murder case?" Jixin asked. "Who else could it be?" "That bastard. I'm so angry. I want to cut him into pieces to vent my anger." Zhu Lingling was furious at the mention of Huasiqian's name. "Then I know what to do." After speaking, Jixin turned around and walked out the door. However, Gao Ran pulled him back. The pregnant Jiang Xiaowei quickly got up and comforted him. "Jixin, you can't be impulsive. You can't let anything happen to you again, or else your sister won't be able to rest easy." "I want to avenge my sister. I want to kill Huasiqian." Jixin's eyes were bloodshot. "Jixin, now is not the time to be stubborn. Murder is illegal, and even if it wasn't, you can't kill Huasiqian. He's not as weak as you think. Plus, revenge isn't the most important thing right now. The most important thing is we have to think of a way to save your sister first." Gao Ran hugged Jixin tightly. "Try and calm him down. Brother Gao Ran, I may be young, but I understand everything. My sister is the family I care about the most. If anything happens to her, I won't be able to accept it. I'd rather pay with my life than let him continue to hurt my sister and brother-in-law." Jing Jixin thought a lot on the plane back home. He wanted to fight Huasiqian to the death. He knew that this was a very irrational decision, but he had no other choice. Huasiqian and his sister went to jail one after the other, and his family was in chaos. If he had to sacrifice someone for peace, then he would be the one. Jixin, listen to us. Your sister loves you so much. She definitely doesn't want anything to happen to you. Plus, Gao Ran is right. Huasiqian isn't that easy to deal with. Even your brother-in-law has to plan carefully. Don't make things worse. Don't be impulsive. Listen to us. Jiang Xiaowei scolded. Jixin, does anyone know about this? Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. Jixin shook his head. Not yet, but my mom feels something. She's been asking to talk to my sister for the past few days. I kept telling her that my sister and brother-in-law are busy, and she started to believe me. But as time goes on, I'm afraid I won't be able to hide it anymore. Then let's keep it a secret for now. Otherwise, when Annie finds out, we'll have one more person to worry about. The others comforted Jixin and tried to calm him down. Jiang Xiaowei, Zhu Lingling, and Gao Ran were also discussing how to save Huamin, but none of their ideas were good and were ultimately rejected. In the end, Jiang Xiaowei sighed and said, if Mian was pregnant, then things would be much easier. Pregnant women don't have to be executed, and their sentences can be delayed for a long time. If she's not feeling well during her pregnancy, she can apply for medical parole. That would be much easier. It's not that easy. It hasn't happened in so long. How could it happen now? Plus, if she was pregnant, there would be medical checkups in prison. Shouldn't they have found out a long time ago? Gao Ran added. Then, the three of them fell silent. What corporation headquarters? Boss, she's here. Oh, really? She's already in the country? Huasiqian asked with a smile. She's already in the country. She brought 2 subordinates with her. They flew here directly from Japan. Chapter 1597. Very good. Looks like she can't hold it in anymore. She really is Mion's best friend. Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Boss, if she comes, we'll be in danger. Do we need to call more people over? His subordinates seemed to be very wary of this she they were talking about. No, I just need to make a call. After speaking, Huasiqian picked up his phone and dialed a number. Then he spoke a long string of words in German that no one understood. Finally, he hung up. Done. I'm going to give her a big present. Huasiqian smiled. At the entrance of Sea City International Airport, a long-haired girl wearing a long black trench coat walked in with her hands in her pockets and a pair of black sunglasses. She walked out of the international airport exit with 2 burly men following behind her. Hello, we are China Customs. We suspect that you are carrying contraband. Please accept our investigation. 2 armed police officers walked over and blocked the girl's path. The girl took off her sunglasses and smiled. Officer, are you mistaken? I'm still a student. Do you have a student ID? Yes. She smiled as she took out an ID from her bag and handed it over. The police officer glanced at it and then said with a straight face, we found an unknown object on you during the investigation. Please cooperate with our investigation. But I'm in a hurry to do something, the girl said coquettishly. Please cooperate with our investigation. It won't take too long. Thank you. Just then, the 2 burly men behind the girl were about to make a move. The girl immediately raised her hand and gestured for them not to move. Then she smiled. Okay, I'll go with you. The 2 of them are coming too. Okay. The girl smiled as she followed the 2 police officers. The 2 burly men followed the girl closely, their eyes cold and vicious. Just as they passed by a secluded passageway, the girl suddenly made a move and choked one of the police officers' neck. The 2 burly men behind her immediately went up and stopped the other police officer. Mike, keep them alive. Don't kill them, the girl reminded loudly after knocking out the police officer in her hand. The subordinate nodded and knocked out the other one as well. Boss, the police are so troublesome. Why don't we just kill them? I don't want to start a massacre here. The girl took out a white handkerchief and wiped her fingers before leaving with her subordinates. I have a bad feeling about this, the girl said faintly. How do you feel? I think we're being targeted. These 2 police officers are just the beginning. The young lady felt that her entry this time was not as smooth as the last time. She was checked as soon as she got off the plane. It seemed that his father was right. Sea City wasn't a good place to stay. First hospital. Chu, are you really not coming with us? Chin Chu's uncle looked at him seriously and asked, Uncles, you guys leave tonight and take good care of my dad. After I'm done, I'll fly over with Mian to meet you guys. Big brother, I'm a little worried about you. Why don't I stay? Qin Ning was a little worried. No, all of you leave. Don't leave a single one behind. Qin Chu's attitude was firm. Afraid of being ambushed by Huasiqian's people, they prepared a private plane. Qin Chu's parents, Qin Chu's uncle, and his sister all left on this plane. If that's the case, we'll wait for you guys in Hawaii. You must be careful, Qin Chu's uncle reminded him. I know. After giving his orders, Qin Chu left the first hospital. However, at a fork in the road, he was stopped by a red Ferrari. Rick, Qin Chu opened his mouth slightly. Come to Seductive Fox with me. I have something to tell you. I have something urgent to do right now. I'll find you when I get back. No, now. Get out of the car. Rick took out his gun and pointed it at Qin Chu with a cold expression. This time he was serious. Chapter 1598. At such a crowded intersection, Rick's actions were undoubtedly frightening. In the end, Qin Chu had no choice but to follow Rick to Seductive Fox. On the top floor of Seductive Fox. What is it? Qin Chu sat on the sofa and asked in a low voice. Where are you going just now? Qin Chu didn't respond. You're going to kill Huasiqian, right? Rick asked. Qin Chu didn't respond. That's what Huamin is most worried about. She asked you to do it again and again, but you insisted on doing it. Even if you don't think about yourself, you should think about your wife. After I kill him, I'll go save Huamian. There's no conflict, Qin Chu said calmly. What if you make a mistake and die? Rick was furious. Do you think I'm afraid of dying? Qin Chu looked up and looked into Rick's eyes. His eyes were so deep that they seemed bottomless when Qin Chu was furious. He was still as calm as the ocean. This was what made him different from others. It could also be understood as the calm before the storm. Of course, you're not afraid of dying, and neither are others. But have you thought about what would happen to Huamin if you died? After a long silence, Qin Chu slowly opened his mouth. If I die, she still has Suyu. As soon as he finished speaking, Rick punched him in the face. It was a heavy punch, and he didn't hold back at all. Qin Chu's right cheek immediately swelled up slightly. I didn't think that you'd say something so crazy. Who do you think Huamin is? Do you think she'd leave a spare tire for herself? If you die, she'll still have Suyu. Haha, don't you think you're a jerk for saying that? Rick never thought that Qin Chu would have such a ridiculous idea. Qin Chu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and he slowly said, Rick, you might not realize how much of a threat Huasiqian is to Mian. If he doesn't die, he'll be a nightmare for Mian. I can't let him continue to hurt Mian. So, I can't be merciful anymore. I have to kill him. I'm quite confident in my skills. If I make a mistake, the worst that can happen is that we both die together. It's worth it to exchange my death for Mian's peace and quiet. But how can Huamin have peace without you for the rest of his life? Rick was furious. I told you that Suyu will take good care of her. Even if she dies with me, it won't change anything. Rick, many people in China believe in reincarnation, but I don't believe in reincarnation. We only have this life, and there's no next life. So, even if Mian dies with me, it won't change anything. I won't let her die. I want her to live well, with or without me. Rick was completely silent after hearing this. He finally understood. It wasn't because Qin Chu didn't love Huamin enough, but because he loved Huamin too much. So, he had to get rid of Huasiqian for her and pave the way for Huamin's rest. Qin Chu loved Huamin so much that he had such selfish thoughts. You two are crazy. One of you is in prison, and the other is risking her life to take the blame. One of you is sacrificing yourself for the other. Rick was about to go crazy. If I don't come back, Suyu will definitely find a way to get her out. Mian will be fine. After speaking, Qin Chu slowly stood up. Just as Rick was about to speak, Qin Chu said, "If you're my brother, then don't stop me. This is the path I chose. I'm Huomin's man, not a coward. Okay, I won't stop you. Go." Rick lowered his voice. Chapter 1599. When Qin Chu got up and walked to the door, he felt numbness on the back of his neck. Then, he turned around and looked at Rick in disbelief. "Rick, you." Before he could finish, Qin Chu fainted on the ground. "I'm sorry. I can't watch you die. I promised Huomin that I would protect you." Rick looked at the fainted Qin Chu and murmured. He didn't want to use anesthesia on him, but he had no choice. Qin Chu was too stubborn. He looked like he was going to fight Huosiqian to the death. Rick was also in a relationship, so he knew what Qin Chu meant. Even if he had to die, he wanted Huomin to live a carefree life. Qin Chu loved Huomin too much and didn't want her to be hurt. However, Rick thought that if she lost Qin Chu, so what if Huomin lived a peaceful life? Would she be happy? Of course not. She would live the rest of her life in pain of losing Qin Chu. "Boss, what should we do with Mr. Qin?" Rick's men came in and looked at Qin Chu, who was under anesthesia. "Send him to the secret room first. Also, remember to handcuff him. He's very strong. If the anesthesia wears off, you guys won't be able to defeat him." "Yes, boss." After they carried Qin Chu away, Rick walked out of the office, exhausted. A girl in a dark green cotton jacket ran over to him. She held Rick's hand intimately. "What's wrong? Are you tired?" "Yes." "Are you still worried about Huomian and the others?" "Yes." "Don't worry. I think Huomin is a very kind girl. She'll be fine. Cece, it's not as simple as you think." Rick looked at the girl gently. "Actually, it's not that complicated. Don't think that I don't know anything. It's just that Huomin and her husband are very much in love, and the big bad guy, Huosiqian, wants to interfere. But the main problem now is that Huomin is still a murderer. He's in prison and facing trial." Rick felt depressed at the thought of Huomin still in prison. Huomin isn't a murderer. She wouldn't do that. She just wanted to protect her husband. Her husband isn't a murderer. This is all a trap set up by that big bad guy. "Cece, do you believe in Huomin?" Rick patted Cece's head lovingly. "Of course. I've always idolized Huomin. I know everything about her, including the time when she went beyond her authority to perform surgery on a pregnant woman. I don't believe that such a kind girl would be a murderer, and I don't believe that she would use such a cruel method to kill. That's why I know what's going on right away." Rick glanced at Cece in relief. "I'll do my best." Rick wasn't a talkative person. This was his promise to his friends. Inside the presidential suite of a five-star hotel, a beautiful girl quickly climbed in through the window. "Boss, are you okay?" "I'm fine. I blew them up. That's strange. We were so secretive this time. How did they know we were here? Did someone leak our location on purpose?" Her subordinates were very confused. The girl walked to the wine rack and poured herself a glass of red wine. Then, she slowly tasted it. "Don't underestimate the people here. They're very powerful. Huosiqian isn't a simple person. So many people investigated him for 6 years in Germany, but they couldn't find anything. I have to say, he's a very powerful person. Boss, there's one more thing." "What is it?" The girl raised her head slightly. Chapter 1600. The Qin family will take a private plane out of here tonight and fly directly to America, but Huosiqian's men sneaked onto the plane. It seems like they want to kill the Qin family. How could they be so despicable? The girl put down the wine glass in her hand, slightly stunned. "Do we need to help?" "Of course, send someone to rescue them immediately. We can't let anything happen to the Qin family." The girl immediately ordered her subordinates to help the Qin family. She knew that they were her sister's family and that her sister loved them dearly, so she couldn't let anything happen to them. "Yes, that psycho. Everyone says that my sister doesn't like him. If it were me, I wouldn't like him either. He's inhumane. He's worse than a dog or a pig." The girl's evaluation of Hua Xiqian was that he was worse than a dog or a pig. She had never underestimated him and knew that he had his own power in Germany. Although no one had ever found out, she had a feeling that he was closely related to a certain organization. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to control everything in Dongtao Town and obtain so much information. She also suspected that he had purposely leaked her whereabouts to her sworn enemy. Was he trying to stop her from saving her sister? Her subordinates went to rescue the Qin family. The girl sat in the presidential suite and was about to enter the bathroom to take a bath. Just then, she heard the doorbell ring. "Who is it?" she asked. "Room service." The girl walked over and opened the door. The moment she opened the door, the waiter took a gun and aimed it at her head. Luckily, the girl reacted quickly and dodged to the side. Then, she rolled up the towel in her hand and threw it at the waiter. Ever since she stepped foot on this land, she had never had peace. She was stopped at the airport for no reason, got into a car accident, and was hunted down by her nemesis. Now, the hotel had arranged for assassins to come in. She was overwhelmed. Luckily, it was her. Otherwise, she would have died 1,000 times over. She regretted coming here now. It wasn't that she was afraid of death. It was that she didn't want to bring more trouble to her sister. The people who hunted her down had been following her all these years. What if they found out about her sister's identity? If that happened, then she would never have a peaceful life. It seemed that her dad was right. The next morning, the whole corporation held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for a project. All the leaders in the city came. There were also many important figures in the business world gathered in front of the whole corporation. All the media were in position, waiting to take pictures of this lively scene. On the stage, Hua Xiqian was dressed in a red suit. He looked extremely flirtatious and had a mesmerizing smile on his face. Next, let's welcome our President Hua to cut the ribbon. Everyone, give him a warm welcome. After that, Hua Xiqian turned around and picked up the scissors from behind the hostess. Just as he was about to cut the ribbon, someone rushed out from the side of the stage. Without a word, he threw a vicious punch at Hua Xiqian. "Ah, someone hit me. Someone hit me." The stage was in complete chaos. It was a good ribbon-cutting ceremony, but it turned into a mess. Many tabloid media immediately seized the opportunity to take photos. At this moment, after taking a closer look, everyone realized that the one who had hit him was the dignified crown prince of the Su family, Su Yu. Wow, this is big news. Lord Su beat up President Hua. "Quick, take a picture." The reporters crazily squeezed forward and took photos furiously. There were even people on the scene who were doing live commentary. Next, let's take a look at the chaos at the whole corporation's ribbon-cutting ceremony. For some reason, the president of Imperial Star, Su Yu, seemed to be very emotional. He suddenly jumped out and beat up Hua Xiqian. "Everyone, please look behind me." Chapter 1601. "So are you crazy? This is a public place." Hua Xiqian lay on the ground and looked at Su Yu. Su Yu pinned Hua Xiqian to the ground, his fists raining down on him mercilessly. "Bastard, I want to hit you in public so you don't disguise people with your disgusting mask. You're a beast in human clothing. I never thought that you'd rather destroy Hua Min than see her happy." Then Su Yu punched Hua Xiqian's face again. Hua Xiqian could have fought back in self-defense. But he didn't. He just lay on the ground and let Su Yu punch him like a weakling. "Haha, so you're doing this for me on. No wonder you're so angry. But you've done so much for her. Does she even appreciate your kindness?" Hua Xiqian laughed wildly. Su Yu glared at Hua Xiqian. "I'm not like you. I don't need her to appreciate my kindness. As long as she's happy, I'm happy." "Oh, really? Then your love is really great. Unfortunately, I'm not as great as you. My principle is that if I can't have something, I'd rather destroy it. So, Qin Chu can't have it either. Even if you beat me to death, it's useless." "Haha, didn't you hear the news? My father-in-law has already given the order. It will be announced tomorrow, and the execution will be carried out in 3 days. My sister will be executed by shooting. Young Master Su, do you know what that means? It's a bullet that goes through her head and her brain explodes. From then on, Huamin will completely disappear from this world. She doesn't belong to you, she doesn't belong to me, and she definitely doesn't belong to Qin Chu. Ha! It's perfect. Even under these circumstances, Huasiqian was still saying these things to piss Suyu off. Suyu was about to lose his mind. He raised his fist and continued to punch Huasiqian. The entire process was photographed and recorded by the media. When the police arrived, Huasiqian was already badly injured. Both sides of his face were bruised. Suyu's fist also had a lot of red veins, which showed how desperately he fought. President Su, please come with us. You're suspected of assault. The policeman looked at Suyu awkwardly. Suyu stood up, panting, and swaggered away with the police. Huasiqian also went to record a statement. Huasiqian immediately sued Suyu for intentional injury. That night, all the major media outlets published an article at the same time with the title, "The son of a high-ranking officer is extremely willful. The president of a group goes berserk on the street, lawless." This article aroused the anger of many onlookers who did not know the truth. They thought that Suyu was using his background as a high-ranking officer to do whatever he wanted and bully ordinary people. Most importantly, Huasiqian was too successful at pretending to be pitiful. He was beaten up badly from the beginning to the end, but he did not fight back. Therefore, he gained a lot of sympathy. The public opinion was one-sided. When Gao Ran saw Suyu in the detention room of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, he was also depressed. "Lord Su, aren't you being too impulsive? I can't stand that bastard swaggering through the streets. But you shouldn't have hit him." "Hitting him was enough to vent my anger," Suyu said confidently. "But you're being detained too." Gao Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "It's just 48 hours of detention. I don't care, but he's suing you for intentional injury." "I don't care either. But did you know? Huamin's sentence will be announced tomorrow morning." Gao Ran looked at him and said seriously, "What sentence?" Suyu stood up and looked at Gao Ran in panic. He was really afraid that Huasiqian's words were true. Gao Ran didn't say anything. "Say it." Suyu roared. "The execution will be carried out in 3 days," Gao Ran said slowly. Suyu felt his mind go blank for a moment. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.